We're live. Hi, I'm Bubba.
And the Filipino show. And now tonight we have our guest. We have Sez as our guest.
What's
And
up, everybody? Thanks for that very swanky introduction.
yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome, man. Only the best for you because you're the Styles man.
Question to both of you. I can't find the show on YouTube. I mean, I can't see
Huh?
the comments. Are you able to see the show? You know how you got to find it on YouTube under the Great Supreme Leader. Are you guys looking at that now? Or
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking at
am.
it now, live.
oh, I just found it. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Did you see it?
Okay. Don't do that.
I wonder what
My God.
the question was. I thought it was a really, really important life and death question.
No, not at all.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Maria is not here, so that's why we have Sez, and we're very lucky to have him. He's very popular in Angeles City.
Yeah, I'm popular for all the wrong reasons. It's horrible.
Uh, so tell me, says when you go out, you get recognized by a lot of people. Now, is there a lot of them? I've never been to Angeles City, so is there a lot of expats there?
Yeah, there's a ton here. What a lot of people don't know about Angeles is it's actually a very booming economy. You know, you hear Angeles,
Oh.
you just think about like the girly bars because that's what
Oh
it's
yeah,
popular for, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But
It'd be
uh,
like Pattaya.
yeah, well, exactly. But I mean, it doesn't even compare to Pattaya. Like Pattaya is just another beast. But Angeles, it's this very small area, which is like an entertainment district. So it'd be like kind of like a Las Vegas kind of thing, right? Where there's like a strip.
Oh.
It's like
Oh,
a strip.
and, oh, really? Do you get Elvis impersonators?
No,
Walk?
you don't get that. It's not
Oh,
so corny. It's not really as corny, but you know, there's a lot of flashy lights and all that stuff. But you go outside of just that little small congregated area, and it's actually quite a normal city. So to answer your question, Bubba, yeah, there's a ton of expats here, and there's a ton of tourists here. And yeah, the problem is actually one of the main reasons I kind of cold back on the video making was because I was just getting recognized way too much. It was starting to creep me out.
but I mean, recognized in a good way or in a bad way.
I
I mean,
never had a I never had a bad experience. I never had someone say like I hate you. Everyone was always very nice and like excited to see me.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're a
for me,
celebrity.
yeah, but for me because I'm just some nobody, you know, I'm like everybody else. I'm just some nobody. It kind of started creeping me out. I'm like, you know, people strangers call me out from the
Try to
street.
talk to you. Huh?
Yeah, and I'll be
Oh.
honest with you guys. I seem like I'm very extroverted, but I'm actually a
Yeah.
pretty private guy. And so I don't know, just all the time having people come up to me at the mall, just walking on the street, it was just getting a little overwhelming. So yeah, I had to stop making videos, but now I'm slowly starting to make them again, mainly just to promote my business because I have all these followers, so why not take advantage of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
Yeah.
Popeye, Louie is having internet issues.
I saw her in here for a second. She like popped in real quick. She was
And
like,
then
you know
pop
what?
out
Screw.
again.
Yeah, she was like, screw you guys. Oh, she was like, says it on. She was
Yeah,
like,
it's like I'm here, go to hell, and she's gone.
And didn't even have the chance to talk to us, huh? Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just curious how your business works. Says you sent me a while ago about the link.
yeah. Did you take a look?
Yeah, but I had internet problems, so
Oh,
wasn't able to to
welcome to
scroll
the
down. I will
Philippines.
later.
Yeah, no
So
problem at all.
how does that work?
So basically, it is the easiest way to describe it is a local business directory site for Angeles. So let me give you guys an example. Here in Angeles, and actually many parts of the Philippines, I wouldn't say it's a bad process, but it's a different process to find like property for rent. I what I have found,
Okay.
yeah, they have OLX.com. I mean, I'll be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to use OLX and I don't think it works that
God.
well. I've never had any success actually using OLX. What I have found and this is different from America, is the easiest way to find a house to rent or a house to buy is to literally go around and look for signs.
We'll work for
Mm.
food.
So you're like an online directory of a lot of things.
Yep,
It
exactly.
or it only centers on properties or something
No,
like
no,
that.
it's
No, no,
it's
no.
actually pretty much everything.
Okay.
Property's one of our main sections, but we have property, we have
Ah,
hotels, we have
okay.
restaurants. What's really cool about our restaurant section, and I'm really liking it so far, is we're
Yeah.
starting to put up menus on the site. So for example, I mean, how useful is that? You
Ah,
go to the site and you get to see the menu, you see their operating hours, you see kind of the price range. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Oh God,
oh,
that
okay.
says, you know what?
That's a lot of
I'm
work.
I am so mentally depraved, and somebody's going to do it. You know it's going to happen. Somebody's going to do a bar girl directory.
I'm sure it already exists, man.
Ah,
well,
what?
you know what's funny, guys.
Hit me up on Viber.
Well, here's what's really funny. A lot of strategy went into this business. I mean, me and my business partner, we even before we launched the site, I mean, we just talked about it for a very long time, probably almost a year. And originally, we were
Mhm.
gonna have a personal section. Do you know what that is, Ken? A personal section.
Mm,
Okay,
yeah,
so that
I'm guessing. I'm guessing. I'm thinking about it
what's your best
correctly.
guess? What's your best guess?
Well, what Babas mentioned a while ago.
Well, it's not exactly that because Bubba was talking about bar girls, which are technically working girls, right? Now, a
Yeah, yeah.
personal section
Oh,
is
the
closer
It's
to.
gainful employment. Don't hold it against them.
Oh, I don't.
what?
I don't
I'm,
either.
I definitely don't. You know, I actually know. Like, I'm in Angeles City. This is where like bar girl central, right? No,
Oh,
there's
dude,
a lot of
I bet you're a
So I've heard.
celebrity among them.
yeah, unfortunately. So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. So personals is more about. It's a little more like dating. Hey, I'm a single woman, 35 years
Oh.
old, looking for a guy. Now that could be serious or that could be casual, right? There's a site. There's a site in America called Craigslist. Have you heard? And they have it here as well. Have you heard of Craigslist, Ken?
I've heard about it.
It's
I'm not sure about the details though.
it's not that popular here, even though they do
Mm-hmm.
have it. And actually, it was one of the reasons what sparked the idea of my site is Craigslist in America is like if you need a place to rent, if you need a job, like this is the go-to
Oh.
place. But they're also very popular for their personal section. And Bubba, you know about this, right?
Of
I have no
course.
clue I've never looked at a personal
No
section in
way.
my life.
No way. Maybe it
Never.
could be.
Seriously, Baba. Be
I'm a
honest.
choir boy at heart.
Yeah, Bubba. Be honest. Bubba was one of the guys
Admit.
like 45-year-old male
Baba.
looking for cat.
What always cracks me up is
Yes.
looking at the casual encounters section.
Well, what's funny is Craigslist got really popular for its personal
About for
section.
that personal section.
Yeah, but there was like weird stuff on there. Like I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about the
Oh
very
yeah.
strange.
I
Looking for
thought it was
somebody.
more of a like a business referral or something.
Look,
That's my
No,
context.
no.
Craigslist has everything.
I had it wrong.
Craigslist has
Okay, okay.
everything.
So now
But
I know.
but
Yeah.
they do have, the romance section. They have, whether you're gay,
So
straight,
it's the more popular part.
guaranteed,
Ironically.
whatever.
Well,
You can find it on Craigslist.
so here's our dilemma. Originally, when we were talking about the idea, guys, we were like, do we want a personal section? Like, we kind of should have it. But then we realized that it's not going to work well in Angeles City because then it's going to turn into what Bubba said. It's going to turn into like a prostitution thing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we don't want that. We don't want that. We want to steer clear of that. So we actually decided against it. But the idea of a dating section still is up in the air. We might do it later on, but we would have to heavily monitor it.
Bear
Yeah,
looking for somebody to wrap me
How
in
can
plastic and beat me with
monitor
a
that?
stick.
Huh?
What was that?
You'll
How
get
could you sorry.
From wrapping Bubba up in plastic and
Baba,
picking him
what?
up?
But
Oh,
yeah,
lots of ways.
bear looking for young man to wrap me up in plastic and beat me with a stick.
You.
It'll turn into a freak show.
You. Good job, Baba.
That's very disturbing,
You're so
Bubba. Ken, Ken and I are both
Baba,
silent. We have way to kill the conversation.
is that
I'm sorry.
is that your
Actually,
turn
I'm not really a hairy person,
hidden
but that's
fantasy?
beside the point.
Yeah, Bubba. Thanks for sharing your fantasy.
Not hardly.
That's like a Freudian slip, Baba. You can't hide.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that
Oh, I don't know about all that.
I'm just kidding.
Bubba
I,
had
Hey, how can you
dreamed.
monitor that?
Are you talking to me, Ken?
Yeah.
Oh,
Says
there's a lot of different ways. I'll
Mhm.
give you an example. So let's say property for rent, or no, let's actually use property for sale as an example. So let's say everyone goes to our site because our site is the place to go when people want to buy
Okay.
property. So what happens is agents eventually will reach out to us and say, "Hey, look, we want in on this," because basically it becomes the place to go. So we have like a whole monetization strategy in place, but yeah, there's a lot of
Mhm.
different angles to making money. One thing you could do is you could work with agencies almost as like a broker,
Mhm.
because when the traffic is there and people are coming to the site, you have control
Mhm.
over that. Another way, obviously, is through like featured listings. So if someone wants their listing bigger than everyone else's, or if they want it at the top of the list, that's
Ah.
another way. There's actually a lot of different funnels that we already have planned. So it's a fun business, but it's we're growing it from the ground up. So it's one of those things where it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of just a lot of my time, because one thing that I do is I need to meet with a lot of business owners, because
Yeah, of course.
I'm like the marketing guy. So that's a lot of my days are spent like setting up meetings with like business owners, but
Mhm.
it's fun. I like doing that because
Yeah.
it's
It
kind of
sounds really
cool.
challenging.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
it's the best job for you.
Yeah, it keeps me on my toes. So
now, are you making
Well,
money at it?
yeah, so we're right at that point where we are, and we're actually turning down a little bit of money too, to be honest.
Cool.
Yeah, because a lot of people, well, you'll notice if you go to the site, we don't have advertising on the site.
mm-hmm.
So that's a conscious decision, because right now, like, the advertising kind of clutters it. So a lot of people have reached
Oh,
out and said, "Hey, how much is to
fewer
advertise?" And
ads.
we've actually said no. So yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well. I mean, we're at a point where we're very happy with the progress, and it's only going to increase from here.
Yeah, of course. All kinds of business startup takes up a lot of money, of time and
Yeah,
effort,
it's very time consuming.
and
So
a lot of thought process that
yeah,
goes
it's
along.
draining. Like
Yeah,
you,
that would be awesome to do something
Yeah.
like that here in Deval, but I'm too big of a fucking idiot to do something like that. So
well, I'll tell you, Bubba. I mean, the plan is we have Angeles as a test market, right? And
Mhm.
I was telling Ken this before. And once we feel that Angeles is in a good place, we're expanding to many other expat focused locations, and Davao is one of them. So we already
Cool.
we already own all the names, like all the domains. So Davao is one of them.
Oh.
Dumaguete, Manila, Cebu. Yeah, we're definitely going to expand, but you can imagine how much work that's going to be. So it's going to be down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baguio. Alo said Baguio. Absolutely. And
A lot
eventually
of places.
it will all fall under kind of this Philippines bucket. So right now we just want to make it really useful. And yeah, I saw a guy in the room. He said, good site. Very happy to hear that. I've got a lot of good feedback, especially from people here in Angeles City.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That
what's up?
Good.
sounds really good because it makes finding places, food a lot easier than roaming around the street and
Yeah.
the old process here
Yeah,
in
it's
the
hard.
Philippines.
You know
Yeah.
how I found my apartment? I was just walking around like in the sun. I was dying.
Well, another thing too, before I came over here from the States, I would go to websites to find places to rent, and it was all geared though towards expats. I mean, ridiculous freaking prices, like real estate and stuff like that.
Oh.
And so I'm like, well, this isn't going to work out. I'll just have to wait and get there and see what I find.
were you the only one who tried to find the
Well, yeah,
place?
I came here by myself.
Ah, that's why. They do
Yeah,
that a lot.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, so you came here and then you met your. Is she your wife, Bubba, or your girlfriend?
she's my girlfriend
Okay,
sometimes.
sometimes
Sometimes
Nah,
only when
depends on your mood.
she's not giving you tumble.
uh, yeah, that doesn't happen very
Funny.
often. No, it really doesn't.
Let me
So,
ask you, Ken. Have you
Uh-huh.
ever given somebody tumble?
Ah, yeah.
Oh wow, wow!
Yeah.
Tell us about this. Tell us about this,
but
please.
it's pretty short. What do you call that?
Short lived.
Short lived. It's short lived.
That's good. So you're
It's like
because
I'm just sad and I don't talk to the person, and then after a while that it's okay.
you get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not the person who hold grudges, or I try not to be.
You're a good person then, because I've heard stories, and I'm sure you have as well, Bubba, that
A
people are
lot.
like, yeah, my wife or my girlfriend is giving me dumpo for like 3 days.
oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
if a
depends on the reason maybe.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
that's a good point.
in context of the tampo here in the Philippines, it's the reason is petty.
I
So maybe
agree.
like for example, we were about to meet at 8 o'clock, and then you went here late for 45 minutes, something like that.
So
Something
so
like that.
so am I hearing this correctly, Ken? You are usually on time.
Yeah, I try to be because I don't want to waste other people's time.
Damn,
Yeah.
I love you.
I
So
was about to say,
I don't.
Ken's a winner. She's a winner.
Yeah, because
Because
if I'm too early, I waste my time. If I'm too late, I waste other people's time. So I'm a little bit sensitive about other people's what do you call this? Time, or yeah,
you
something
know
like
what?
that.
I was really amazed when, because you hear about Filipino time, and I've experienced it a lot. But one,
I'm kind of on Filipino time now too. I've
I
kind
am
of
too.
slid into that.
Yeah,
1 hour late.
I go back to America, dude. I'm screwed.
I've
Really?
adapted.
I'll say
Yeah,
be here at 9. I'll be there at like 11. I'm here.
like I try to appoint my patient at 9, but I'm already in the clinic at around 8:30 or 8 or 8:30.
Oh wow. Yeah. So
Well,
you're.
time is money to you though, and that is
Yeah, yeah. And even for personal hangouts, like family meetups or something like that.
How about Louis though? Louis comes like
I
3 hours
Louis is
late.
also on time. It depends if she thinks it's an important, like um she's usually on time. We
So
have
Louis doesn't stroll in 4 hours
Yeah.
late, hungover. She's got her
No.
sunglasses on,
No, no, no,
straight
she
to the
doesn't. She
clinic.
doesn't.
Yeah,
No,
she's
no,
got her.
she
got
doesn't.
her contacts out doing her
That's
makeup
too
while she's
late.
walking in the office.
Sorry, Louis. I had to throw you under
No,
the
she's
bus.
not. She's not. She's always on the go. She doesn't. Yeah.
Okay,
She's also sensitive about other people's life.
that's good. So
Yeah.
both you girls are just good people because you are concerned about other people's
Yeah,
feelings.
other people's times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. No,
What?
but I was
Mm-hmm.
really shocked one time when I went to the doctor. This is in Cebu. I went to the doctor,
Uh-huh.
and the doctor strolled in 2 hours late.
Ah. So
Yeah,
have you never experienced that in
never,
States?
never. I mean,
Oh
it's like when
yeah, it's
yeah,
always like that here.
when you have an appointment, like especially like a doctor's appointment, you come there at 10, and they're there at 10, and usually it's because they have so many other appointments, so they want to
Mm-hmm.
keep a strict schedule. But yeah, this was amazing. I was like, they told me come here at 9. And then when I got there, they're like, sorry, sir, the doctor's not coming in till like, they told me 10.
You
And
need to have a list.
she literally
Mm.
strolled in at 11. Like she strolled in and she had her white doctor jacket on, and like it was no big deal. And then just started calling people in.
Yeah, sad.
You
That's
don't
my,
agree with this.
yeah,
Okay.
I always experience that here. So I
Okay,
don't see any purpose on appointing a schedule if it's not being followed. So just need to
good.
be in
Good
time
for
as much
you.
as possible.
So the tables have turned. Now the American Bubba is the scum. He strolls late,
I
and
am.
the Filipina.
I am the late, no schedule keeping mofo.
I will admit this because I was so used to like an
Mhm.
office environment back home, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, you don't show up late. But now
Yeah,
that
of
I
course.
now that I work
Mhm.
for myself, I'm pretty good at keeping a schedule, but there are times where I'm like, oh, I want a little bit extra sleep, or maybe I'm a little bit hungover or something like that, and I might, it's a little bit more flexible these days for me. For me, it is.
Ooh,
Mm.
damn. Okay. Now, says, what were your parents like when you were growing up?
Oh,
Now, now,
Oh.
I'm
He
kind of
laughed.
guessing.
Why?
I'm kind of guessing
I
because
think they're the
you're
chill type.
you're what 32, right?
yeah,
Correct.
32. Yep.
Okay, I'm 51, so I think you kind of missed that age where you were the remote control.
Huh?
What
Were
does
you
that explain that a little bit more?
okay? When I
Like
was
they throw you at the TV to change the channel. They're like, "Yo, jerk, get up and change the channel."
yeah,
No,
exactly.
no, I didn't deal with that. I think we had like a giant remote control. Like it was like this obnoxious.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was like the size of a freaking Bible almost.
Yeah, yeah,
I
And it was funny. You wondered how in the hell does somebody lose a remote control that big?
yeah. How about the cell phones back in the day? But no, going back to your question. Well, what do you want to know? Do you want to know more about like the era that I grew up in?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Let's talk about the era.
let's see. I'm an '80s kid, so I was born in
Mm.
'85, and yeah, I mean the '80s was like such a screwed up era. It's like the cocaine era. I think everyone was on cocaine in the '80s.
Oh,
Actually, I wasn't. I was on
really?
LSD, marijuana, and mushrooms.
Oh,
Okay, well, fair
okay.
enough. No,
That's surprising to hear.
I tried it, but it just didn't do anything for me. I'm like, what in the hell is the fascination with this shit?
but you know what I mean about the
Maybe.
'80s. It's such a strange time. I don't know. I mean, maybe Ken, you could explain this to us. How was like the '80s like in the Philippines? Even well, when were you?
Oh, I wasn't born yet.
You were born. Let's see, '90. Let's see. You.
I
I
was
think you said
born
you're.
in 1991.
Oh wow, you are
So
young.
I don't have any thoughts about that, only in TV shows or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about in the TV shows? Like, what was it like in the Philippines in the '80s? Because in
Oh,
America, it was nuts.
how well, I'm pretty sure they are a lot more conservative back then and a lot stricter than the parents are right now. So that
Oh.
means like they don't let their girl they don't let their daughters uh go out with guys, and then they also don't let their daughters what's that they don't let their daughters wear something shorter than something above the knees.
Oh
You
man,
can
see,
only wear skirts.
see, I love
You
the
can't cut, yeah, something
the
like that.
'80s was great because you had halter tops and skin tight leather
So
mini skirts.
if you held hands with a guy, you have to marry that guy.
Like literally, like if you held hands, it's like okay,
Yeah, yeah,
get
yeah.
married.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could believe that back
Oh my
then.
god.
Popeye, see, Popeye
Yes.
knows what's up. He says, don't you talk about the '80s? It was a great time. Yeah, I
It
mean,
was.
unfortunately, I only had a good like 5 years, and I don't know. I don't think I remember.
How about in America?
Yeah, well,
In
the
this
'80s is a really weird time. I mean, have you seen the
so how
way
they
people dressed?
Oh yeah, people
yeah.
the dress.
Have you seen their haircuts?
Well, dude, I'll tell you what. This stereo,
Mhm.
the picture. If you look in the dictionary under '80s hairstyle, it would be the flock of seagulls guy.
Yeah,
And
I
you know what's funny?
yeah.
That guy, he's Aussie, I think. He lives in Florida now, and VH1 sometimes they'll do shows like Where Are They Now, whatever. And the guy lives in Florida. He's, he made a pretty good living for himself. Didn't blow it all on heroin or whatever, which a lot of them were doing back then. And he said, "Well, the haircut must have been something because you're still talking about it 30 years later."
I got a question for Popeye. Yeah, Popeye says we looked good. Popeye, can you confirm if you had a flock of Eagles haircut?
We looked good in the 80s.
I had long hair. I wore an
Anyway,
earring.
uh-huh.
I would wear like heavy metal shirts that were cut up.
Do you
Oh
have
my
the earring on
gosh.
the
Can
right
you
ear,
send
Bubba?
us a picture of that?
Yeah, I
No,
want to
no,
see it.
I wore it
To
on the
put it in a
left.
frame.
I wore it on the left. The right meant you were queer. Nowadays, you got people who have like 30 earrings
Did you also
in their
have
nose, eyebrow, and wherever else.
did you also have like long hair with the gel and the leather jacket?
I had a leather jacket. I never had the hair gel. I was not a gel or mousse wearing guy. I just had
Oh.
long hair and wore an earring and was stoned
Well,
most of the time.
a
Yeah,
lot of the
that
fashion
sounds about
statements,
right.
yeah, a lot of the fashion statements before are still being repeated after a generation or just being recycled. So
Reagan was
it's okay.
president. Reagan was president. The U.S. didn't take any shit from anybody. It was great. And you knew who the good guys were and who the bad guys were. You had the Warsaw Pact
Oh
nation, which
yeah.
was the Soviet Union, and you had NATO, which NATO has definitely outlived its usefulness.
Oh.
Yep, and I parted my hair in the middle, so I was a pot. Of course, I was a pothead.
I want to say a big hello to Louie. Thanks for joining us. I know you're about an hour late, but yeah, appreciate you joining.
Yeah,
Hello?
Maria, we miss you.
Oh, she's here. And then she's out.
Oh, yeah, the '80s to me was all
How
about
about
Van
yeah.
Halen. I actually saw him on her last tour with David Lee Roth. Well, the
I
first
love the
time.
music.
I love
I
'80s
love
Big
the
fan,
music.
music.
big
Yeah,
fan of
80s and
'80s
90s
music.
music.
Big
Mm-hmm.
fan.
Me too, because I turned 18 in 1985, so I was like right there,
Yeah.
and it was really great. You could find a job, a good paying job in America still back then. Um, things are
Oh.
great, and it's funny because back then, okay, unlike a lot of politicians nowadays, Reagan had a lot of Democrats vote for him, what they called Reagan Democrats. Well, I was not too stoned to enjoy Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now that is the ultimate one of the ultimate '80s movies to me. Have you ever seen that? Says
Oh, it was classic, man. Are you
that
kidding
that
me?
that that's what
Oh.
that's before Sean Penn became an asshole.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times I watched the Phoebe Kate scenes. You know, the pool scene.
Oh, dude, she was
I
smoking
have to
hot.
watch this movie. I can
go
relate.
go watch this scene. Both
Fast,
Louie
fast
and
times
Ju-
Ken.
at Ridgemont
Yeah,
Judge Reinhold
Oh,
spanking
I'm
his monkey in the
excited.
bathroom.
it's a famous,
I'm excited.
it's a very
Oh,
famous
Like,
scene.
and another movie too I really liked was Better Off Dead.
I didn't see that one.
That was like
huh?
John Cusack's first starring role in a movie, but there's a scene, and they have it on YouTube where his boss tells him, he's like working at a burger joint, and he's like, give the people what they want, and he's like, I'll show them what they want, and it shows like a hamburger jumping up playing Van
The
Halen's
gangster.
"Everybody Wants Some," like claymation or something, complete with whammy bar on the guitar, and it looked just like Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
This sounds very upsetting. What do you think, Ken?
Oh,
Ah, I
it's
can't
great.
relate.
I don't think I want to see this one.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's pretty funny. It's he's like driving
It's
down the
one of those
street.
gangster movies.
He's driving down the street, and his girlfriend dumped him. So, and every song on the radio is like, you hear Hall and Oates, "She's Gone," and it's all like songs about getting dumped. So he yanks the radio out and throws it out the window. That was a great movie.
I
Like,
have watched a lot of James Bond movies.
Are
from
you a
the
Sean
60s.
Connery fan, Ken, or are you a
Yeah, Sean
Roger
Connery.
Moore fan?
I'm more of a Sean Connery fan.
Oh, okay.
Ew.
I love Sean Connery, but I'm more of a
I love
Roger
the
Moore
James
fan.
Bond.
Roger Moore, because I liked Roger Moore's sarcasm.
I like the Dalton guy. He was in like one James Bond movie. What was his
Yeah,
Only
Timothy
one?
Dalton?
Why did you
Yeah, he
like
was in like
him?
one.
yeah.
Why
No,
did you care to mention
now,
who's
Pierce Brosnan did a good job in that one he
yeah,
was
I
in.
I
I'm
like
know.
the
surprised.
I like the underdogs, Ken. You know, I was
Oh.
rooting for him, and then he just failed. He probably got fired.
Only one movie. I especially love the theme songs.
That's a good
The theme
song.
songs and they have a lot of leading ladies also in different movies. It's funny.
Are they still going with James Bond? They are still going, right?
Yeah, but the current actor, I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah,
like him
I don't know, man. It's
as a
not the same though
choice.
without Connery and Roger Moore.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Connery.
not the same.
Connery. When I think about James Bond,
Classic.
it's Sean Connery.
Yeah.
See, that's
He's
before
the
your
one that
time.
stuck. Yeah, because my dad used to have a, it has a lot. Uh, Here in the Philippines, we have a lot of DVDs that's being sold here in the stores that has a series. So he has 1960s, 1970s, and he watched it while I'm on the sides playing wherever.
And see
So I
me
kind of watch a lot of movies.
the
James
first James
Bond.
the first James Bond movie I saw was Live and Let Die, and
Yeah,
that
I watched that.
and that's the first one that had Roger Moore in it.
I'm trying to think of the first. Oh, Goldfinger. That's my favorite one.
I like Goldfinger.
That with the guy who throws the hat.
Diamonds are forever.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Ken is very knowledgeable. Now let me ask you, Ken, what
I
is your favorite movie of all times?
Oh, it's really hard to say. I like watching movies.
Are you so you're a movie
Uh,
buff? You are a movie person.
yeah, I'm a movie person. Like even if I have to work, like I have to keep records or something like that. I just keep a movie playing on the side of my laptop. So I can multitask while watching a movie. So I have a lot of favorite movies.
Okay,
Memento.
give us like a range.
Uh, I
I,
love.
I'm totally putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you totally put me on. I can't think of. I I love Memento,
Ooh,
Interstellar.
good choice. Good choice. Momentum.
I love movies that have open endings, and I particularly love action movies
How about,
than love stories.
oh, so you're not really like a romantic. Yeah,
No, 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 no.
I got to be honest.
I'm not. I'm
I
not.
can't stand like the romance movies. My kind of movie is it's not.
Dirty Harry.
What?
Well, here's the thing. It's not.
Cartoon?
I really like crime movies. Like
Oh,
when drugs, sex, and like crime are involved. I like these kind of movies.
Scarface.
Yes, love Scarface.
Classic.
Amazing movie. Classic.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's funny. That
yeah, I
movie
did
did
watch
not
that.
do well at the box office, but once it hit video, it's like a classic now.
Yeah, it had like a cult following. Yeah. Well, what's funny? It's not the acting in the movies, not that good. Besides Pacino's good,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest of the actors they're pretty corny. It's totally like 80s acting. But it is a classic.
How is it? How is it different from all the other movies?
Like for like the newer movies, I don't know. I just thought the acting it's very corny. The music is really corny. It's these 80s montage.
Ah,
Like
okay, okay.
they do these 80s montages with like the most 80s music you've ever heard, and it's great. Yeah, if you haven't seen Scarface,
Mm,
you got to check that out.
Oh,
I have
awesome
to look at
movie.
that.
Say hello to my little friend.
You're gonna have a long list of movies to watch, Ken.
Yeah, I have a long list. I studied a lot for the past years. I also love Inception.
Inception was the same director as Memento.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
You know
Chris,
what?
Christopher Nolan.
Chris
I'm a
Nolan.
complete moron. I have no idea of either of those movies.
Oh, I I'll be honest with you. I really liked Memento because it was very raw. Like I feel like it's very raw, kind of indie style. I wasn't big on Inception. It just confused me. I didn't understand it. I wasn't smart enough for it.
See, I'm an old school guy, so to me, probably if I had to name my 3 favorite movies, it would be Godfather 1 and 2.
That's an easy one.
Most definitely. And
Why
then,
did you say it's an easy one?
Well, it's just he's like my 3 favorite movies, and he's like named basically like a set. He's like number 1, number 2, and number 3.
I didn't like the
Okay,
third
okay.
one that much.
Bubba took the easy way out.
How about the newer ones, Coco or something? I cried
Well, you
when
know,
I watched Coco.
I saw Dunkirk and I thought it sucked.
I don't know. I don't know those movies.
Why?
Dunkirk.
Coco?
It was like World War II. You know, when the British had to evacuate and get off the beaches.
Never saw it.
It sucked. Don't waste your time.
What's Coco?
Yeah,
I think
what
we're
is Coco? Sounds like name of a
You've never.
pet
Oh,
or a
you haven't
stripper.
watched Coco?
It
No,
does sound like a stripper.
He's a Mexican
It's
little
like
boy.
Bubbles.
It's anime. No, sorry, it's animated.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
Mexican little boy.
Do you
And
recommend that we watch it?
yeah, of course. And tell me if you're gonna cry.
I don't know. I'm about to give
You're
Louis
not the crier.
combo.
You're not the crier. Have you ever cried in a movie, both of you guys, Baba and Sez?
No,
Have you ever cried?
I think Bubba cries in every movie, actually.
no. Now there are a couple
Oh,
movies
really?
that makes me, you know,
You haven't cried?
no.
Why?
Well, actually, I cried at the end of Scarface when he died.
No, the drug lord died.
I gotta
I have
find
to
a new
watch this
sketch now.
Scarface.
Damn it!
I cried in Bambi when what's it? Bambi like eats her daughter.
What's that?
Oh, you don't know
Oh.
Bambi? It's like a Disney movie.
Disney movie.
No, I'm just making that up. I actually didn't cry in Bambi.
Speaking of Disney movies, you know what I think? And it's funny because when I was a kid, they showed it on TV, but now you can't even find it on video in the U.S. unless it's a bootleg. Is
What's that? What movie?
Song of the South?
Oh, I don't know that movie.
Dude, that's great. Uncle Remus, man.
Wait, can we talk about something real quick since we're on Disney movies?
Okay.
Did you guys ever hear about like the scandal where they would draw sexual stuff into the movies?
Is it shown in the cinemas?
Yeah. So,
Oh.
and you can look this up online. I mean, there's YouTube videos about this and everything. So the artists, they would just do it as a joke. They would get bored, and they would. When I was a kid, I loved this stuff. They would draw like just random sexual stuff into the Disney movies. So there's a bunch of movies like Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, which have these weird little it's like these little things. You kind of remember it?
Sorry. No, I don't remember it. I'm trying to search, and now they have a lot of
Look it up. It's actually
documents
really
about it.
interesting.
Little
And
Mermaid.
Yep. Yeah, there's like a giant penis on the front of the Little Mermaid, the box. I remember. There's
Oh,
yeah.
I see it now.
But it's like very
it's
obvious.
very subtle.
Yeah.
It's not obvious.
Well, it's
Unless
obvious once you look at it.
from
You're like, okay, they obviously did that. But you're right.
once you know.
If you weren't looking for it, it's very subtle. You're right.
And yeah. Now I can see it now.
Watch, you're gonna have a long night just looking up because
Yeah.
there's a lot of them. It's actually really funny.
And okay.
Popeye. No, actually, what's really funny, Popeye is right. He says, I always put the VCR on pause to see it. So what I would do, so in The Lion King, let me tell you guys about this scene. And we did have VCRs back then, so Popeye is exactly right. So in The Lion King, there's a scene where they whisper take off your clothes. Like they whispered. It's really weird. And yeah. And I would always put it like
Really?
pause it and replay it. I'd be like, oh my God, there it is. Yeah, there's the scene. Yeah, totally. I guess I was
Oh,
a
there it
really
is.
bored kid, huh?
Even in Toy Story. How did you learned about this? Says?
I don't know. I think it's probably
Or
one of
you,
my little degenerate friends. I mean, I was young when these movies
that's
were out,
weird
so
because this has never came up unless it's put in 9gag or something like that
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure it was one of those situations where, I was probably like 6 or 7 years
Bored.
old, and like my little
And
7-year-old buddy
this
is
is
like, yeah.
mm,
That-
Another movie
I've
I
never
like too
noticed
was
this.
Waking Ned Divine.
Oh, even in the Lion King poster, the
what's
nose
the one with
looks
the
like
Lion King? Is it
the
like it
Lion
spells out
King
sex or
poster.
something?
No, the Lion King poster. It has like an image of a girl. It has an image of the Lion King in front, but uh, it looks like a naked girl. Sorry, a girl who's only wearing a panty.
It's on the poster.
Yeah, it's on the poster, and they have an outline now.
See, look,
And
look at
instead of the nose, it
yeah.
is the panty of the girl.
Oh, interesting.
Instead
See
of like oh yeah.
all this
Well,
cool stuff you missed out on, Bubba.
well, that's like in the Wizard of Oz when they said you see somebody hanging, like somebody committed suicide.
Yeah, I remember that. I heard about that. Is that true or no?
No,
About
it's actually an extra or something, but no, it wasn't somebody who committed suicide. But it looks like it when you watch the movie. You kind of see it vaguely in the background, and it's like
but
it does look like somebody hanging
where?
in Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Is
I
it
know
real?
you've seen that movie, right?
Yeah. Is that real?
No,
Ah,
There
okay.
was a rumor, I remember, that someone on set hung
from
themselves.
themselves.
I
Yeah,
remember.
but it was just a rumor. But when you look, though, it
That
kind of looks like it. I think somebody in the theater saw it and thought, "Oh, wow, somebody actually hung themselves," or
mm.
and got it going that way.
Going back to favorite movies, I'm gonna say Pulp Fiction, Goodfellas, The
Oh,
Departed.
Goodfellas.
Oh, amazing movie.
Love
I
Goodfellas.
And
never
and
watched that.
this is gonna be a strange one. A
You have
Clockwork
to
Orange. You ever see A Clockwork Orange?
I have
Oh, great movie.
no.
many, many, many moons ago.
Yeah,
You
that's
have to
probably
recommend because here in the Philippines, it's only the mainstream that reaches the
That
news.
was like that was Anthony
What should that
Hopkins,
be?
right?
no. Clockwork Orange was Malcolm McDowell.
I've watched that.
That's right,
Yeah,
Malcolm.
that's
Yes.
weird.
Yeah, you're probably not gonna like that one, Ken. It's just like violence and
It's
rape
like
and
you. It's
yeah,
like
but
seriously.
it's very well done. It's a
How
very
how was it well done, sis?
well.
It's
Well,
like
that director.
disturbing.
That was a great question,
Disturbing.
Ken. You're like, please tell me how was that well done? No,
How
so
was
the
that
the
well
director is a
done? I'm like
guy. It's the
disturbed.
I'm blanking. Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick, and he
Mm-mm.
had a great
Full
eye.
Metal Jacket.
Yeah, he's the same. He's the same director.
That would be my third
And
favorite
then
movie.
And basically, he was known to have a great eye for like, I guess what would you call it? The cinematography, like the camera work. He was like a pro. So I mean, the movie is just really, if you actually watch it, and you get over all like the violence and rape and all that stuff. It's actually really well done. So you've
yeah.
actually watched it.
What?
How far did you make it into that movie, Ken? Because it's like a 3-hour
The
movie,
whole
I think.
movie. It's
You
the
watched the whole
no,
thing.
I'm sorry. I watched the I'm sorry, I kinda cheated because I watched the movie but I kinda skipped some parts.
You skipped through it.
Because it's disturbing. It's disturbing.
Yeah, it
And
totally
at the
was.
end
It
they're like what what was the ending? I think
where
it
oh
still
well,
has a
hopefully no one in the movie.
violence. It doesn't have
Yeah,
a resolution.
yeah.
It's
He
not the
doesn't.
usual kind of movie. Uh-huh.
He I think at the end he jumps out a window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a strange movie. Oh, Popeye, yeah, because Popeye is a Boston guy, and he says The Departed was a joke. They know nothing about Boston. Yeah, I don't. To be honest, the reason I probably liked it is because I don't know anything about Boston either. So to me,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
don't
oh, this is
either. I
great.
thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a
I
great.
mean,
wait,
it
wait a
had
minute.
Nicholson in it.
Sorry.
I mean, come on.
What's that? The Love Boston.
That and you know,
Hey,
and I want to say this. I love the Dirty Harry movies.
what's that?
Clint Eastwood.
Mm,
I loved him in the Dirty Harry movies, and he was, of course, awesome in the westerns. And I'm not a big western guy, but you know, he.
mm.
But yeah, love those old Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry movies. They were awesome.
That's a good definition.
Well,
Anyway, going back to the Clockwork Orange. If Baba, have you ever watched this movie?
yes, many moons
Okay.
ago.
This movie made me hate the song Singing in the Rain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
I
because
think even
yeah,
I hate that song because of that
it's
movie.
weird.
Oh yeah, that well, because remember
Different context in it.
it was so strange because
Mm-hmm.
he was very into classical music, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
But
he was recognized because he sang it again.
because he sang it. So
I
you
remember
did
that.
watch the
Yeah,
movie.
I
Yeah,
did.
you know, I'm
Yeah,
proud of you,
I
man.
did watch the movie.
I'm proud of you.
I guess I'm curious because my friend recommended this, so I wonder why he liked it.
and the friendship ended, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, are you guys still friends?
He's my crush, so I watched it.
You're like, okay, I'll
Oh,
watch it. No,
but but if he's not, I would have just watched the first one and then the last part.
here's what I want to know, Ken. How did this conversation
Uh,
come up? I just can't imagine like you know, you're on a date or something and the guy's like, "Oh, you know what's a movie you should check out? A Clockwork Orange." Like I can't imagine that.
okay, at first I'll ask, what's the rating? I'll just watch it so I'll just watch it. So I can give an opinion next time.
But what was the
I'll try to
context?
understand the movie.
Yeah, what was
What
the context? You were like, "What's a movie you like?" And he was like, "A Clockwork Orange."
I forgot.
Because that is kind of a weird.
I
I mean,
forgot.
I'm a weird guy,
He's
so that's
weird.
why when you
Yeah,
asked me
he's
what's your
he's
favorite
weirder
movie,
than weird. So that's why when you were telling me ago about telling us a while ago about weird people,
hmm
it's normal for me, because I believe that all people have their different kind of weirdness. But this guy
true,
is weird.
even weirder
His
than Bubba.
favorite movies.
yeah,
Baba's not weird. Baba is
I'm.
not weird.
Oh,
Baba is a choir boy inside.
He's a choir boy.
that's right. Deep down inside, I'm a big
Yeah, who
choir
sings lady
boy.
things.
Popeye says, I had 6 Filipinas at my house one day and showed the movie Wizard of Oz, and they loved it. I thought you were going to say,
Oh.
Popeye, that you had 6 Filipinas and showed the movie Clockwork Orange. That would be weird. That would be weird.
And they loved it.
Well, that would
It's
be
hard to
like
believe.
that would be like showing that movie The Downfall. Have you
I
ever
think that
seen
would
that?
almost be. I think that would almost be like illegal, actually.
Have you ever seen that movie The
And
Downfall?
the downfall.
Yeah, it's about like the last 10 days of Hitler's bunker. They got a YouTube video of all the suicides in the movie. I mean, you would have talked about a
Oh.
depressing fucking movie. I mean, it's 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 terrible, man. I mean, I think the movie's got something like 14 or 15 suicides in it.
Oh
Huh?
wow.
Yeah, if you would have a real happy time, that's not a movie you want to watch.
So if I
Or
like just want to be
Why would I watch
depressed,
that?
yeah,
or if you're with a girl and you really don't like her and you really don't want to be around her, show that movie. That'll be
yeah,
it.
like bust out the candy, bust out the popcorn, and
Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna watch The
stop.
Downfall. It's a comedy.
He also recommended the Old Boy. Have you watched that? Says
Oh, wait,
Baba, have you watched that?
hold on.
Old
Is
Boy,
old boy? Can wait?
so
Can I
disturbing,
confirm something?
so disturbing.
Is it the one where the guy
Oh my
cuts off
god.
his tongue?
Y- Uh,
I could be wrong.
I've
yeah.
never
That's
seen that
it.
movie.
And he figured
Uh,
out, he figured out the thing about his daughter.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
very
Maria
disturbing.
serving.
Is
That's
it? Is
up.
it's a Japanese movie or something?
It's a Korean movie.
Korean. That's right.
Dude, the Koreans make some weird shit, man.
Yeah, but they're really good filmmakers.
And they make really good food.
Well, I will say this:
Yeah.
I love Japanese horror movies. Every
Japanese,
movie,
yeah,
every
yeah,
Japanese horror
yeah.
movie. I haven't seen a bunch of them now, but
I
every
love
Japanese horror
anime.
movie I've seen has been really,
Really good.
really good and very well done and very suspenseful. I like very suspenseful stuff, like creepy. I don't really like.
Oh yeah,
I don't really. I
yeah.
don't. I don't
They
like.
make
I don't like really the slasher type movies like Texas Chainsaw and that stuff because if I want to see blood and gore, I'll watch a good war movie.
yeah. If I want to watch a good horror movie, I'll watch either Thai or Japanese. If I want to watch a chill, feel good movie, I'll watch a Korean or a Filipino movie. But if I want to watch crime suspense, I watch an American
Do you like?
American
I
movie.
have a very important question for you, Ken.
Mm.
Do you like Korean dramas?
Yeah,
You
I
do.
do. It depends. Yeah, I do.
Overacting.
But yeah, yeah, I really do because it's more realistic and feel good. It depends though because sometimes a lot of Korean novellas are too long to watch.
Well, Korean dramas like took over Asia, right? It's like
Yeah.
they
Well,
they
it's weird. It's like everything Korean is taking over Asia. I mean, like K-pop.
Have you watched the Korean novella, the Black? Have you watched it? It's
No.
suspense. You should.
wait.
It's
Hmm.
you
Would we
know,
understand it? They have English
yeah. They have
subtitles?
subtitles.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really good.
Hmm.
Try to watch it. It's not the usual, love story kind of plot,
I could
something
see
like that.
Bubba really enjoying Korean dramas.
Oh
Do you,
yeah, that'd be.
Baba, while
Oh, that'd be
drinking
right up my alley.
ladies
He's drinking.
drinking
He's drinking his
ladies drink
apple cider beer, and
Oh
apple?
yeah, drinking my queer beer, just having a good old time,
wait.
and
Now
looking at fashion mags.
that's too funny. Now hold on. I mean, we've been wasting all this time talking about these amazing movies, right? But I'm pretty sure Ken had something that she wanted to discuss.
Oh, okay. Going back to our topic, we were talking about the difference between parenting styles before and now. So one of my observations is when we were kids, it was back in the 90s. I could play outside without my parents worrying about where I am, what am I doing, where's my cell phone, blah blah blah, something like that. Now kids don't play outside anymore, and when kids are outside, a lot of the parents worry.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
don't.
true.
I don't know if I agree with that statement, guys.
Huh? Okay.
Because when I'm here in Angeles City, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times, and I remember this because I'm always amazed, right? I see these little kids running around, and literally there's no supervision. It is crazy. Like they're running across the street in traffic, and I don't think like I'm not talking about street kids. I'm talking about like these kids have a home, but no one is watching them.
Oh.
That's like we went to the grocery store day before you, day before yesterday, or was it
Mm-hmm.
yesterday? It was yesterday. And there was a kid, and he wasn't a street kid, but he was in a grocery store begging for money. And I said
Huh?
something to one. I said, "Beat it, kid."
Wait,
And
wait,
I,
this kid is genius. That's what. Wait, so the kid like
Baba.
his parents are down, like they're like shopping, and he's like, "Yeah, I want some extra cash."
yeah, I mean, and the kid wasn't dressed
Oh my
bummy or
god.
nothing either, and he's like coming up, holding out his hand. I said, "Beat it, kid."
You know what this kid is? He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yep, Bruno Gantz.
Really,
That's
Baba,
it.
what was the kid's reaction?
Yeah, Bubba, why you got to be so
The,
mean?
Baba.
the kid just kind of looked at me strange. I'm just like, I said, "Beat it, kid."
Kuripot.
He
Kuripot,
probably called
kuripot,
him
thanks,
Kuripot.
kuripot. Kuripot siya.
Yeah, I was just like,
Kuripot
and I
siya.
go to employee, I go, hey man, this kid's in here begging, dude. And the kid told, and so the guy, the employee, pretty much told him to beat it too.
What is the difference between Kuriput and Kurimao?
Huh?
What the hell does that mean?
I've heard this other word, Kurimao. No?
I'm not sure what's the meaning of Kurimao, but Kurimao used to be like a monster in Ghost Fighter. But the context here is weird, something like
Mm.
that.
But it is a word.
If I'm not mistaken, though.
Okay.
Weird. I'm not sure if it's weird.
But
Why
Kuriput.
did anyone ever call you Kurimao?
No, I have a friend. No, I'll tell you why, actually. I have a friend, and whenever the street kids come up to him, he says, instead of saying Kuriput, he said, you say Kurimao. And then they're like, oh, what he would tell me is, oh, they know he's not a tourist, right? He knows what's up. So I don't know. I don't know the meaning.
Okay.
But it
I'm not
sounds like
sure
you don't really, it's like not a
Sorry.
word you would use, right?
that I usually encounter.
Maybe it's
I
for
don't know a lot
maybe
of
it's for like
street words.
very low people. I don't know.
Huh?
I said maybe it's
Street
like
words
for
now, like now they also have a lot of gay languages. I don't relate gay languages and
like bakla
swear words.
language,
Yeah,
Bakwa?
like
they
their
have a
own language.
different set of of words and meaning
Oh, this is
and
perfect timing
context.
because we have Popeye
Yeah.
on. Popeye, what do you know about gay language?
Yeah, yeah, Popeye. Tell us
why,
there,
why are you asking
you old
Popeye?
salty sailor there.
Well, ¿cómo
Is
está
he an
acá,
expert of gay
Kuripot
lingo?
naman? ¿Cómo
Is
está
he an
acá,
expert?
Kuripot naman? ¿Cómo está acá, maganda? ¿Cómo está acá, Supreme Leader? Says, you know, I
Hello.
really don't know anything about your gay community. I mean, seeing,
You're gay.
seeing how you
Why's it
are
got
a
why's
Am
it
I
gotta be my
millennial,
included?
community?
you know.
Am
It
I
breaks
included
my
in this?
heart to see you go that way. I heard so many rumors about you and everything, and I really don't want to espouse them on this show because they're just too they're too torrid, they're too insipid, they're disgusting, and so but I like you, Says, I really do. I
Why
don't
thank you.
care.
Why thank you.
I don't care what they say about you, you know. And I wanted to tell you a little bit more about the story. When I lived in East Bahak Bahak in Olongapo,
East
Hmm.
Bahak Bahak. Is that really how you say it, or do you have a stuttering issue tonight?
that is really how you say it, man.
Like
And
Ukai Ukai and Sigi Sigi.
My favorite is
uh,
Killy Killy.
Killy Killy.
Kili kili.
Oh, I was,
Under
having a
arms.
little party at the house, and next thing I know, my wife invited more Filipinas into the house, and I put the movie on Wizard of Oz. And
Mm-hmm.
they all looked at me when it was over, and they said, "When did this movie come out? Did it come out last?
1930s.
Did it come out last week? Did it come out, a month ago? We haven't seen it at the movie theaters." They loved it. They were cheering. They were jumping up and down. And I showed them the VHS box, and I said, "See, it was made in 1939."
Oh my gosh, that was 1939.
Yeah, it was made in 1939. They couldn't
That's
believe it.
wild. Wow. Yeah, wasn't
That's
that the
classic.
first color movie ever made?
Yeah, it's one of the.
Ah,
I mean, because it was
wow.
very expensive to use Technicolor back then. That's why they were all black
Mm.
and white movies and stuff like that. And then you dog in the 80s, okay? Let me tell you something. My
Mm-hmm.
generation created
80s
the
was
80s,
great.
How
okay?
Papa,
We
you're
had
not that old. You're late 50s, right? How old were you in the 80s?
I'm
Let's
mid
see.
50s. I'm
Okay,
mid
you're
50s.
mid 50s. Okay, and so you were in the 80s. I'm really bad with math.
20.
You could be my son.
You were
Okay.
you were in your 20s in the
He was
80s.
in the 20s.
Yes, I was in my 20s, and we
You had a
ruled
good
the
time. Yeah, you had a good
we
time.
we ruled the 80s, dude. And you know,
We
it's
got
all it is. We rocked it.
Like the
we
Okay.
bad
gotta
guy.
we gotta see photos because
Yeah,
Popeye had like the
we
coolest
have
hairstyle. Like
we have to see.
what I always think about the 80s is those blazer jackets with the shoulder pads. You know what I'm talking about? Those
Yeah.
are
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
those are
had the oversized khaki jacket, the oversized khaki pants, the black pointy shined out shoes.
Did
You
they have
know.
like the bangs and the
No,
big hair?
I had more like a Fonzie haircut.
a
It was
pompadour.
up.
Oh,
It was up, and there was a little duck ass in the back. You know.
Yeah.
And you see, you didn't use a lot of gel. You just used a little bit of gel. Those guys that used to use a lot of gel, we called them helmet heads. Okay,
oh,
they were idiots. They didn't know how to use, men's products back then.
Pomade.
Okay.
The pomade.
Yeah.
That's another movie I love. Oh, brother, where art thou?
Yeah. In that movie, The Departed, they screwed that up. The accents, the Boston accents, were so bad. I mean,
What about the story though? Was it accurate at all? Because I know it was loosely based on a Whitey Bulger, right?
oh, it was so loosely, everything fell through the net. It's just like you really couldn't even follow it. If you actually knew the real story, you would be horrified.
Yeah, I was about to
Okay,
say the real
Is
story
it
is
based on the
probably
real
way
story?
worse.
say again, hon.
What it was it based on the real story?
It was supposed to be,
Characters
but
were. It's
there
kind of
was
like a
real,
novel. Sort of.
yeah, there was really no facts in it, and
Ah,
basically, I would t- I would tell you if you lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts at the time that I lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and you spoke the word Whitey Bulger, you would end up in the Charles River dead as a doornail. Okay, you didn't even speak his name. That's how terrifying that man was. Okay, you just
And
don't know.
he had a brother in politics.
Yes, he did. He was an alderman, a very powerful alderman.
Well, yeah,
You
look who
know.
his brother was. I'm sure it wasn't any problem to get the votes come election time.
Yeah, it's all about the votes, all about the money, and guys like Whitey Bulger. You just didn't say his name in the '60s and '70s. You didn't do it. It did not behoove you. And I looked at the movie and I said, what a joke. They don't know what they're talking about. You know. But that's my perspective. When somebody on the outside, like you or
ah,
Ken, sees it's like they go, "Wow!" They get glitter in
yeah.
their eyes.
Yeah,
This guy.
it's a good movie, but I hear what you're saying. You're like, because you know the real story, so you're coming at it. You
Ah,
know what you're
okay.
talking about, and you're like, this is bullshit.
How
It
can you
is.
say that, Popeye? Because what's the real and versus the what was shown in the movie?
Okay, they showed a little bit of killing in the movie. Okay,
Ah,
and they
I didn't
showed
know
a
that.
very dysfunctional police officer. Okay, which was a joke. All right, Boston cops are as hard as nails. You don't screw with them. They don't
Ah,
they don't have erectile dysfunction problems or head problems. They're you know
how
that
did
was
you
all
know?
garbage. That was all garbage. Okay, and Whitey Bulger, the guy was a brutal killer. All right, they didn't even show a third of some of the killings that he did.
You have a
Okay,
lot of sentiments there, huh?
yeah, they just glossed over it. They really screwed it
It's not
up.
accurate.
What's
No,
crazy is Whitey Bulger he was on America's Most Wanted, or not America's Most Wanted. It was like literally he was the most wanted man in the nation for 20 years, and they
he
found
was
him.
on the 10 most wanted list.
Yeah.
10 most wanted.
Yeah, 10 most wanted, and they found him in all places, Santa Monica, California, which is where I was raised. Santa Monica. It's like the guy was probably I don't know. Have you guys been to Santa Monica before?
Yeah,
that's where all the has-beens go.
Yeah. So Santa Monica, it's like, it's a very popular place. They got the Santa Monica Promenade. It's just funny to know that Whitey Bulger was like just strolling around the promenade like a normal dude.
That's called hiding at plain sight.
Yeah, literally. And they found him. I guess he had been out there a while, and that's where they caught him. 20 years later.
Oh, is he camouflaged or something, or did he have plastic surgery?
I think he just looked a lot different. I think he was just like had a he probably only had a mustache or something.
He just got old.
He got old. Exactly. Yeah. He just got old.
Yeah.
He just got older.
So Ken, ano ang problema si Maria?
Connection ni internet. Bagal.
Slow,
the internet's slow.
you fix it for
Pinoy
her.
Na Pinoy ka.
I want to hear both my Filipinas in the morning when I have my cafe. Okay.
Sad to say she's not here.
But
she's there listening on the sides.
Because if I don't hear both my Filipinas, masakit sa puso, di ba?
I like how you're like, I want to hear both my Filipinas, but instead you get like Bubba's like pack-a-day cigarette voice, and then like my voice.
Don't you like hearing Sez's voice or Bubba's?
Ooh, that's a hard choice, man.
Bubba's husky voice, husky macho voice.
That's right.
It's funny, Maria. I mean, Ken, when you say you were born 1991.
Yeah,
1991. You know where I was for Christmas of 1991?
Where?
I just pulled into Subic coming from the Gulf War with my ship. And we got we got 3 days liberty, and so we all went out and drank, ate good food, raised hell. And then we all jumped back on the ship and we headed back to the Gulf War. That's where I was.
Wow.
Hey, Popeye, were you out here during Pinatubo?
I was there during Pinatubo. Okay. I was akin station ka dito sa Pinatubo. I mean, that was the one time I thought I was gonna die. I thought the whole barracks was going to come down on us.
Yeah, I could imagine. It must have been pretty intense.
We called it Black Friday, man, and it was. It just went pitch black.
Because the sky, right? Just all the ash and everything.
Yeah. And very scary time. Very scary time.
Where were you evacuated? Or where did you
I
stay?
wasn't. I had to stay. I had to stay and clean it up.
Were you in Subic or were you actually in Angeles?
I was in QB Point,
which is
Subic Bay.
Oh, Subic Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, and everything went black, thunder and lightning. The ground started shaking.
Read Mr. Tux's comments. Popeye, I was born in 1991 in Subic Bay, Papa.
My anak is coming back to
He's your long lost son.
You better. I think you might want to get caught up on that back child support there, brother.
Yeah, I better. All right. Hey, check is in the mail, Mr. Tux. Okay.
He's long lost.
Yeah, and I tell you, it was something else. We had actually 7 people die on the base that day.
How do you die? Like, is it because they were suffocated from the smoke, or
no? What happened was the earthquakes came. The ash landed on all the roofs.
Oh, and it collapsed. The roofs
and it collapsed. Roofs collapsed. Holes opened up in the earth. It was like watching, it was like watching one of those
movies, right?
Yeah.
Like
Armageddon. And for 3 months, all I did was shovel ash off roofs. I was out on Kamayan Pier, Nabasan Pier. I was taking a 2-inch hose, washing off ash off the
Mm.
pier. Right?
Wow.
We had no electricity. We had no running water. Every day I had to
Oh
walk
my
up
God.
the hill, fill a plastic bag with water, bring it back to my room, and take a Filipino shower in the shower. You know, pour the water over my head. You know, and to this day, I think I still got ash in my ears. You know.
That was 26 years ago. I was
Yeah,
just one month,
that's
one
very
month old
wild.
baby.
So those were not fun times when that
No,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't.
hey, if I could survive a war, if I could survive a volcano, I'm coming back to Philippines.
Yeah, nothing can
Akin,
stop you now.
yeah, akin, Costa
Yeah,
Costa,
you're
Pilipinas,
strong.
diba?
Well, I'll tell you, Popeye,
Strong.
when you get here, I think you're going to be. I don't know if you're going to be pleasantly surprised or just surprised, but so much has changed. You know, it's like
Mhm.
especially Angeles and Subic. Not so much like I'll be honest, a lot hasn't changed, but a lot has changed. So when you come
That's
back, I mean,
contrasting.
yeah, I think you'll like it though. I think you'll still like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was watching a vlog called Property Club.
Yeah, I know that
Okay.
dude. We've sat down a couple times.
He's very good, and he did a vlog in Subic on the old base, and he went into the do food shopping. And I couldn't believe it. 90% of the food they were selling in the grocery market was American food. Oreos, this, that. It was
Mm.
90% of it was all American food, you know? And dude, the junk food they had in there, you know, the different types of American chocolate and this and that. And I'm like, why are all these guys living out in the boondocks telling me, "Oh, I missed this, I missed that." Da, 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 da. Well, I say get your butt over to Subic, and you get best of both worlds. You get Filipino food, you get American food. You know, you get it all there. So
Yeah.
why live out in the boondocks, man, on some lonely island? You know?
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I mean that's part of the reason I'm an Angelus because, well, number one, the internet is great out here, so you know that's huge for me. But
Oh.
number two, it's just like it's got everything I need, right? Yeah, it's like it's a little bit dirty, and there's not like a beach right here in Angeles. But hey, if I want to go to the beach, you could go up to Subic, Zimbalis. That's an hour away, so I
Mhm.
really like it here. Yeah, I really like
Yeah.
it. Everything I need.
Oh, Bubba, you got to, dude, you have to put the link to the Bubba and Filipina show group, Facebook group on your channel here, okay?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
want to,
Oh, Baba's there. He's
yeah, you want to
awaiting.
drive,
I
yeah,
thought
you
Bubba
want to
fell
drive
asleep.
more traffic, you know, drive that traffic. I want everybody coming out to this show. This is a great show, you know.
Wow.
I mean, you two girls and Bubba do an awesome job, man. That's why.
It's more of a random banter. Random banter of bored people.
And you know, I really want I really want this channel to thrive. And on my channel, the Popeye channel, I will definitely promote it. And I hope Sez does the same and doesn't be a spoiled little twit, you know.
I am pretty selfish.
Are you spoiled, Seth?
Well, you know what? I've given kudos to Bubba before because I'll tell him, I'll be like, hey, I really enjoy the conversations you have on here because it's a different perspective, right? It's
Yes.
on the other channels, it's all the boys show. We all love it, we all love it, but it's the boys show, right? It's like a lot of
Yeah,
testosterone. And no, it is good to hear a little bit of a different perspective. It's a sigh of relief, right?
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's no
There's a
drama here. I
balance.
really like that. You know, I really like that.
Yeah. If you want
But
drama,
it's
this
the
is not
balance
the
you're
show.
looking for.
Oh,
Still to this
so
day, though, I don't. Can you guys tell us the story? I'm actually really interested to hear this. How Ken and Bubba did you two connect? Like, I just don't see it.
Facebook.
Yeah,
But no.
yeah.
Okay,
It was
what's the
weird too
story?
because
Tell us
okay.
the story. I've never heard this.
Okay. You've never heard it. Someone
Never.
asked me before. So I I worked in Davao for about a year. I worked in my aunt's dental clinic, and so she had a Bob Martin. Do you know Bob
Yeah.
Martin?
Yeah.
He was the one who made her website. So I was included in the website. I was there. I'm not sure how. I think my name was there.
Your like clinic was
Yeah,
included. They, like,
yeah. There's
promoted it?
pictures
No,
of
no,
her.
no, 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 no. I was a part of the dent associates in that dental clinic, and I was part of the what do you call that display on the
So there's just
website.
like a picture of you, like, hey, I'm a dentist.
Yeah, no, I think maybe Doctor Kenesha Tingson, blah blah blah, is here working. I'm not sure. I haven't
Okay,
visited the.
it was more like a professional
So
little
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
it was a professional website. So Baba was asking me if he can have an appointment at the clinic because he was trying to consult about his teeth, something like that. But apparently, I've already studied I've already had my hospital training in Manila, and I was currently working in Makati.
Oh, so you already gone by that point.
Yeah, I was already gone. So I told him, okay, just go ahead and ask my aunt. This is her clinic number, and this is blah blah blah, and this is her. You can contact her directly, or any other concerns that you have. You can go ask her there at her clinic because I'm currently not working there anymore. So it after a year, I'm not sure how Bubba was the one who asked me if I can be a guest on his show because he wanted to have a interview about Filipina professional, something like that. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they also have already interviewed other Filipinas before, but not a Filipina professional. Am I right, Bubba?
Bubba, yeah, Bubba, do you want to chime in here?
Am I
Yeah,
right?
well, keep in mind too. Before she was ever on the show, we stayed friends on Facebook, and we would still talk and stuff. You know, I would tell her about going to the dentist in America, and I told her,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Ken
said,
purposely
More on
left
that.
that part out. She's like, no, we didn't talk.
Ah, no,
that's
no, no,
dirt
that
bag.
was what I remembered. He talked to me about then any dental concerns, and he asked me about the kind of materials here. Maybe he wanted to know if what the dentists here are saying are legit or something like that.
Yeah, you know, and we just became friends, and we kept on talking and stuff. And you know, I told her, I said, you know, you're the most beautiful dentist I've ever seen. I said, in America, all the dentists, and I'm sure Sez and Popeye will agree, probably most of our dentists were old, ugly dudes.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
No, really,
Uh,
a lot of dentists are really pretty. So I didn't believe Baba. He
Yeah,
Bubba,
said a
I
lot of
hate
the
to
dentists here.
contradict you, Bubba, but you know, I used to take my daughter over to it's very famous dental place here, Dental Sure or something like that.
uh-huh.
Every you know every 6 months for cleaning and checkup stuff like that. And I would walk in there, and dude, I would just like, oh my God, where did all these young, beautiful women come from? And my daughter would look at me and she'd say, Dad, control yourself. Just sit down.
I think it is changing a little bit. You're right, because I did used to have, like, back in the States, he was like an old dentist. I went to him for years, this old dude. And eventually, like, I think the last dentist I had in the States, he was still a guy, but he was pretty young. He looked like in his 30s, which is
Hmm.
pretty damn young. And I know you're in your 20s, which is like another level. So
Yeah,
maybe the direction's changing a little bit.
You're only in your 20s?
yeah. 26.
26.
Isn't that crazy?
26.
26.
Yeah.
Oh my
A
God.
lot of the patients here when I'm not wearing my cone, they
I
ask,
hear Louis laughing in the
yeah,
background.
You hear
sorry.
somebody laughing in the
I'm
background?
not sure.
Louis.
Oh.
Was that her? Well, you know what? It's funny because when I'm at the reception area of my clinic, and I'm not wearing my white coat, so I'm just there, looking through the records of the patients, appointing patients, and then some patients walk in. They always ask, "Is there a dentist available?" And then I go out and shake their hands. Hi, hello, I'm Dr. Tingsan. I'm the owner of this clinic. Do you have concerns, that I can help you with?
They're like, no, I'm
At
not screwing
first,
around. Can you please
at
pay the
first
dentist?
they're gonna talk to me like in a not so respectful way. But when I start speaking, oh my gosh, it's so funny. At first I'm kinda offended because I get that a lot because I'm not tall. And for my age, a lot of people also tell me I look young.
Yeah, well,
So
I don't think it's the height. I don't think
yeah,
it's the height. You do look very
it's
young.
funny. I
I
don't know, maybe because I always laugh.
but
So
that is
But
on your side.
it
Stay
is
young.
when you're
Stay
15,
young.
they're telling you look 25. You'll be smiling.
Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
so
Bubba, I got to ask a question, and you got to be honest. At the time when you contacted Ken, did you have a girlfriend?
No, I did not.
There you go. Because of course you did. You see this like pretty dentist. Why would you not contact her? You're like, wait, I need dental work and I get to talk to this pretty girl? Why the hell not?
Well, I'm not gonna
that's
lie. I
funny.
was like, I said, damn, she's hot.
Put him on
God,
the
I've never had
spot.
a dentist look like that. I'd be going every week.
So when I referred him to my aunt, were you sad?
Yeah, kind of. But the girl who works on me, that she looks good too. I can't remember her name though, but she's sharp too. She's she's in her mid. She's like 27 or 28 maybe.
Oh yeah, the
Okay,
younger one.
I've got to ask you this, Ken. Have you
Mhm.
ever had a male patient come in and have an embarrassing moment in the chair?
What does that even mean, Bubba?
Oh my
Yeah, really. Give a little detail here, huh?
That,
I just got to ask, man.
god.
Bubba, that could mean so
I
many
don't
different
know.
things.
Well, okay, now
Yeah,
I know Popeye says will relate when you're young, when the wind blows.
yeah.
Okay. Did let me put it delicately. All right, Ken. When you had a young man sitting in the chair, did he by chance, grow a little bigger in a
I
certain
don't know. I
area
don't look at
while he
that
was
part.
looking at you? You know, uh,
I don't.
that's where
I'm
Bubba's
looking at their
going with it.
Papa and Popeye. I'm looking at their teeth. I'm not looking anywhere else, so
Okay, good
I'm not
girl.
sure about that.
Good
Yeah,
girl.
I see. I
There
knew
are a
you were
lot
a
of
good
you
girl.
know actually a lot of the guys in the clinic around it's funny because they're around 30s to 40s, and they are more afraid of the needle and the anesthesia and extraction than the
Really?
women patient. Yeah, because a lot of the women patient had already given birth, and they're not afraid of the injection. A lot of the guys are, their hands are shaking, their eyes are rolling around looking for.
Well, all I can say is if I come into your office and you were the one putting the needle in me, I would not care. Not one iota. I would say, go ahead, stick a needle in me all day, just as long as I can sit here and look at you. You know?
So I was telling you guys this, I think before. I think I briefly mentioned it. So I recently went to a new dentist, and it was a cute girl. She was probably, I would say, maybe in her late 20s. She looked very young, And
How did Lynn take it?
well, she wasn't there. She wasn't there, so it didn't matter. it was just me in this white room, you know. No,
Okay.
but here's the craziest part. I was like, okay, this is great, and I needed cavities filled, and I've got cavities in the States before, and they always give you the shot,
Anesthesia.
yeah, we call it Novocaine. That's what we call it. And I think I was mentioning this before. Yeah,
Oh.
and here they just the woman just kind of started going to town. I got like super nervous because I'm like, where's my Novocaine? I started tripping out a little bit, you know? So she must have noticed that. She's like, are you okay, sir? I'm like, I even asked her, I was like, do you give Novocaine? They're like, oh no, we don't do that here. I said, oh, okay. So you're just going to drill right into my tooth, huh? Like, it's all good. It's like, yeah, I started.
You know what?
I would have been a blur out the door.
Did she?
We don't have
Did she ask you where your man card is?
Yeah, yeah. No, actually, what she said, Popeye, she was like, can you clean out your vagina?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, she didn't say that.
Yeah.
See, says needs Novocaine because he doesn't have a man card, Ken. Okay.
I need Novocaine too. If I feel pain in my mouth, I will not be going back to that.
I'll tell you guys.
That's my only rule.
Here's the thing with me, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know anything about dentistry, right? So in my brain and in my 32 years of life, when you get a cavity, you go to the dentist and they give you Novocaine and you can't feel anything. That is it. What I have known my whole life. So just literally like a month ago, I go and now my whole world has changed and I'm like freaking out.
Ken, do they use do they at least use a topical when they drill?
Yeah. Well, in the clinic, it depends on the patient. We don't have an S2 license that allows us to prescribe, Novocaine and other kind of anesthetic. But we do have the option to prescribe a little bit more mild medication. It's not for its purpose, but it's the antihistamine, you know that, because it also gives you
numbness.
more. It makes you feel more relaxed and a little bit drowsy, but it does not perform the what do you call this, the purposes of a Novocaine. But if you're also a little bit scared of the pain, we will give you a choice if you will put anesthesia on your tooth. So we will ask you if would you like us to give you an anesthesia before we get your cavity filled up or something like that. It's always your choice.
Oh, well, I'm going to you next time because this woman wasn't nearly as nice. She was just like quiet bitch boy and she just like kept drilling harder.
We are really.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Really afraid of pain and tooth sensitivity, so I can feel for a lot of patients.
You know what I was doing? You would be able to tell. I had my hands like together, and I was like clenching. I was like clenching.
I would have seen that, and I would have volunteered to give you an anesthesia.
You know what she would say? She'd say, "Are you okay, sir?" And I'd be like, I'd be like, "Yeah." I just lied.
Ken, may I give you some advice? Next time you get a guy like Sez that comes in, all right, just tell him, sorry, sir, no anesthesia, no Novocaine, no anana. It's real men eat pain like candy, and it's time for you to grow up, okay?
Oh my gosh.
And let's do a vlog about it, too.
Grow up. Suck it up.
What would really be funny is if Dennis actually cuffed you. Have you grown a pair yet? Oh, we could have to use a painkiller.
But maybe I would have just laughed at him.
Probably. You probably would have.
I would have and made him more scared before I volunteered the anesthesia.
Yeah, when I went here to Ken's aunt and the younger one worked on me, she shot me like 4 or 5 times with the needle.
So you were good.
Oh yeah, I told her.
Oh,
She goes, you want me to? You mind if I stick you again? I said, no. I said, as long as I don't feel any pain, you could shoot my mouth up 80 times.
that's what I
Don't.
like. I like when they put the needle in your mouth and literally you walk out of the dentist and you're like drooling. You can't even feel your lips.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, and you
That's
can
what I'm talking.
gargle.
That's what I'm talking about. I
Well,
want to be.
you know,
Wow.
you have to be careful with Novocaine because if you inject it in the wrong spot and it goes further past your mouth, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You'll be drooling
Oh,
for life.
we don't
Okay,
use Novocaine. We use Lidocaine. So is that what you're
lidocaine.
saying?
Uh,
Says the local anesthesia.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh,
What's
okay.
interesting is lidocaine, and I don't know why I know this. That's something that they sometimes mix with cocaine.
because you're a druggie.
Yeah, they
Ah, really?
yeah, they cut it because the effect is a numbing effect, and
Mm.
and it just tends to be a lot cheaper. So a lot of times they'll mix, they cut it, and that's how they make some money. But yeah, that's why that I don't know, just a fun fact. But yeah, lidocaine. I don't know what's the difference between lidocaine and novocaine.
Novocaine is Procaine. You know, Novocaine is a brand name, kind of a brand name. I
Oh,
wasn't
it's a
familiar
brand
at
name.
first.
Okay,
Yeah, it's Procaine. It's a local anesthetic also. Yeah, we also use it, but now we use the FDA approved here in the Philippines. It's lidocaine.
got it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
Well,
makes sense.
says look at the
Just
two
kidding.
words.
Cocaine.
Says,
They take a little
Give
mirror and
me
cut some lines on it.
Novocaine.
yeah,
Here,
lidocaine,
Really?
cocaine.
here, here,
Novocaine, cocaine. They
here,
don't
Now,
make
Yeah.
cane.
short this and we'll get started.
Now, if my dentist had been like, "No, we don't have any Novocaine, but I got some cocaine," now I think she would have been my favorite dentist.
Wow.
Just kidding. All right. So yeah, this is actually a really useful conversation because next time I'm
Useful
gonna go.
conversation.
Yeah, next time I'm gonna go in there demanding, like I know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, you can because it's always your choice.
But your guys' clinic is in Laguna. I've heard you say
Yeah,
that, which is
In
how far,
California.
how far
in
from Manila?
California.
Yeah, Laguna Beach.
It's
Yeah, I heard that's a nice
you
beach.
know what? There are a lot of infrastructures going on around here. So if it's only around 30 kilometers, but it takes 1.5 hours or 2 hours to go from Manila to the clinic. It depends on the traffic. Primarily depends on the traffic. It's
Yeah,
not that
yeah.
far.
But Laguna is not Manila.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not. But it's also not. It's kind of a province, but it's highly developed as well.
Yeah, I hear there's really nice
Wow.
houses out there.
Yeah, especially in Tagaytay. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have. And
Laguna,
supposedly,
Santa Rosa, and then further south is Tagaytay area.
You and Maria should come out to Subic, man. They're looking for young professionals to open up
Oh,
businesses. All right, and I think you would
they
make
are.
more. I think you would make
Mm,
ang daming ang pera sa
ang dami
Subic.
kong pera.
Oh, di ba?
Wow.
All right, would
Popeye's
make you.
Tagalog is
Pwede.
pretty good.
Yeah. I was surprised at first, but because
will
we practiced
make
for
you
a lot of
rich.
years.
Well,
Tama.
I used to work with the police out in town. The
Mm.
PNP and the barangays, and they sent me to school to learn basic Tagalog. And
Ah.
then I picked up more when I worked out in town with the PNP, the barangay captain, and I would listen to Tagalog all day. And if I stayed in that environment, I probably would have forgot English, and just
Is it
spoke
is it
pure
hard to
Tagalog.
learn?
Yeah.
Is it hard to learn for you?
Hindi. You
Because
just
galing.
you just have to open your mind,
Mm.
you know. You have to be receptive to it. There's a lot of people they spend a lot of time in Philippines. They don't even know how to say hindi. They don't even,
Yeah,
you
if I'm
know.
in another country, I would learn the language.
And when I listen to you speak English, my God, it's perfect.
It's
Yeah, your English is outstanding. I
It
mean,
is.
I don't know.
it's at work.
I don't know if Bubba helped you with it,
Yeah.
but really,
Yeah,
I mean,
so a part of this story says was when um I was actually planning on putting up a review center, and then a review center for the dental board exam. So it has been a few years since I last taught at class, because I also applied as a professor in a university. So I wanted to relearn conversational English and something like that. So then he asked me if I wanted to co-host, so I can also learn. I mean, I can also practice my conversational English. So here we are right now.
Nice
So here
move,
I
Bubba.
am
Smooth
practicing
move.
native speak.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Wow.
I'm gonna try that one out on some pretty girl. Oh, I heard you want to learn conversational English.
So you're learning the
Bubba the player.
moves now.
Bubba, smooth guy.
Yeah.
Smooth,
No, but it's actually a really good
smooth
story because
guy.
I would always kind of
Yeah,
make
it's
jokes.
funny.
Remember, I would always make jokes in the chat room. I'd be like, "What is going on here? Like, why are these like two cute dentists talking about?" And I was joking, but I was actually dead serious. So,
We know.
Yeah, it's a weird combination.
but it's a
I,
good.
And so
I
It's a
guess.
and so
I guess. Well, I guess too. I've actually heard a compliment on another show that I watched a little bit of it briefly. Another live stream. Well, it was actually recorded. It wasn't live at the time I watched it, but somebody actually complimented, said, how he liked intelligent women, how he liked listening to the show
mm,
because he liked intelligent, beautiful women. So, and I think his wife's a
oh.
Filipina.
And you know what
So,
says why Maria is here also. So in the first during the first time when on the first episode that I guess here in Baba's show, I was nervous and I kept Maria on my side. I said, just stay there.
You
Stay
forced
there.
her. Basically, you forced
I don't,
Maria into
no.
this.
I forced her. I'm sorry. I'm gonna retell the story. I forced her to just be there, but I closed the door because I'm shy. I let her outside. I just know that she's outside. She's my, she's my support group. So during the next few meetings, I just let her stay there. Just talk. I told her just talk. Just whatever. This is not an exam. So at first she was kind of I just dragged her into this
Now she
funny.
can't get enough.
Yeah.
Now she's
I told her
addicted.
it's a really good learning experience for both of us.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting dynamic, that's for sure. Bubba, the degenerate, English teacher.
Redneck.
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting
How many
dynamic. Like I
times have you
said,
been bashed today, Baba?
no, I like Bubba. Bubba's a good guy, and
Yeah.
but it's just so funny because you have in one corner these dentists, very young, smart dentists, and then you just have Bubba, and it's like it makes for really good entertainment.
Why did you talked about it with the contrast, with the defined contrast,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Well, that's what
Baba.
makes it. Yeah, and it was I don't know, even Bubba's name alone, Bubba,
Baba.
it just describes him so well.
Yes, it does.
Bubba, who
you
gave you
know,
that name? Who gave you that name?
I just kind of thought it up because I'm like, well, I was raised in the South, and you don't meet any Bubbas in the Philippines. That is one nickname that Filipinos do not seem to have. It's Dodong, or I can't tell you how many Dodongs I've met. but I have yet to meet a ding dong.
You
So
know,
I
you, you know, Bubba, I have to say, I really like a young dentist. You know why? Because they have a steady hand.
yes, that's
Steady hand.
true.
Those
Yeah,
old
not,
curmudgeons
yeah, they're real shaky.
you're real shaky, could slip, strike a nerve, and talk about pain. Okay.
Oh. It depends on the dentist. Some older dentists also have a really good skill set and a lot of experience. So that's what most of my patients ask me. Usually, how many years have you practiced, or how many years are you already a dentist, something like that.
You should tell them you're my first patient.
Oh.
Oh,
No, I worked for 5 years already.
5 years.
Four, four,
That's a
four,
lot
sorry,
of
four.
experience. Do you get tired of looking at the inside of somebody's ugly mouth?
Mm. No.
You can
Well,
tell the
thought about
truth.
it.
You can tell the
No, it's my
truth.
bread and butter.
Okay. All right.
I hate to be a downer, guys, and maybe you could back me up on this statistic, but
What?
if I'm not mistaken, this is in America. I don't know about in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
There is high suicide rate among
Yeah, I've
dentists.
heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really, among dentists?
Yeah,
yeah.
because in our career, you're confined within the four corners of your room unless you find a way to get out of it, or like to get a variety or whatever in your life.
Says
So,
you really are straightforward. You don't know how to come around the bend like a Filipino or a Filipina. Okay. And I'm trying to
it's not
teach
like
you
that.
that. You just had to jump
It
right
doesn't.
to it, didn't you?
we're
Huh?
we're we're like having this like really jolly conversation. And I was like, by the
And,
way, you might die.
yeah, why do you guys kill
Yeah, it's his
yourselves?
specialization.
I never was good with the
He's best
ladies.
at that.
My God, I'm going to send Lynn a sympathy card, man.
For putting up with my with my dumbass. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think
Lord.
a couple of us guys probably need one of those. Yeah. So you heard that as well, though,
Yeah,
Ken.
I read.
Okay.
I read about that. Well, here in the Philippines, we don't have that much statistics in the states probably, but I've heard now in a lot of dental schools, apparently some students are undergoing a depression or some other psychological problems.
With the
And
students?
sad to say, in Maria's or Louis University, do you know she teaches at the local university?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, I think this year there is one student who committed suicide and another attempted, but
Wow.
Wow.
A
yeah, yeah,
student. They're not
yeah,
even dentists yet.
yeah.
Wow.
It goes to say that the later generations have lower stress, what do you call this,
I know Popeye
stress
probably has a lot to say
threshold.
about this, right?
Yeah, because they are privileged. So a lot of the students there, because they have an expensive uh tuition fee, so a lot of the students there are not used to being reprimanded or scolded, or and not even scolded, like corrected, or they're
They're
not
not
used to
used to
failures. Yeah,
they're not used to
something like that.
discipline.
It,
Yeah,
discipline.
exactly,
the reason I
exactly.
mentioned Popeye is because Popeye was just telling us this story. He like seven of his buddies died like under a volcano, and these guys are sitting in like a classroom, and they're like, the teacher yelled at me.
Well, that's
Oh
what
yeah,
that's what happens
they're softened.
when you get rich, privileged kids and you put
Mm-hmm.
them in an environment where they have to actually learn, they have to be on time, they have to be disciplined,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're spoiled. And it's like, but I'm the greatest thing that ever was. Why are you treating me like this?
yeah,
And they don't understand you're here to learn, you
yeah, yeah.
know? And it's so sad. And but I have to tell you, the one thing I love about Philippines, it's the
Mm-hmm.
only place you can go and meet a beautiful woman named Ken or Louie. Okay, I mean, look, if I was to say to one of my friends, "This is you're going to meet my buddy Louie or my friend Louie," they would say, "Who's that old curmudgeon?" They would not dream it was a beautiful Filipina with top notch education, uh, a doctor, and
Mm-hmm.
then Ken, meet my friend Ken. Oh my God, it's it's amazing. I love your nicknames. They're just
For guy nicknames. Well,
yeah.
we can't for those cases of isolated suicide cases. I'm not sure why in our university also they also have uh that rate of suicide of cases of suicide, but I can't say because when a person gets depressed, it has a lot of reasons affecting to that, like family issues, environmental studies. I can't really say, but it is predominant with dental schools, so I'm not sure. I have to know more about this to
Well,
generalize.
I have a question for you. In
Mm-hmm.
your school, right? You probably have two type of students. The one that's
Mm-hmm.
rich and privileged, has the money to go, and the other student is the one that's working also and has to pay their own
Mm-hmm.
way. So
Mm-hmm.
which student would you say does better?
In my university,
Yes.
my university is a public university.
Okay.
It's
Eh,
before you can study there, you have to take the national exam,
mhm,
and you have to get a certain ranking before you get into that university. But before you get accepted, they review your capacity to pay the tuition.
mhm.
So I'm telling you because most of my classmates are not that rich.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah,
But you do
yeah.
have a few of
Some of
those,
the
right?
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. So in general, you were asking me about which what was your question again, Papay?
The student that struggles financially, or the student that
Or
has the money to do it. Which student would you say does better in the
I can't
university?
generalize because a lot of my classmates are really smart, regardless of their financial status. But
Okay.
in terms of patience and ability to handle the patients really well,
Uh huh.
I guess I can say that those who grew up, those who are not that privileged, have more sensitivity to their uh, is more sensitive to their patients' needs and
Okay.
concern
Uh,
as compared to those already born rich. Because some of my classmates who are rich, they don't care about the patient. They only care to finish their requirements in
right.
time.
See,
Yeah.
where I'm really going with this is that, you
Uh-huh.
know, I've seen rich kids get into university. Okay. when I went to university in 1998,
Mm.
okay, I was paying my own way. I had to pay 20% of it, okay, and we had I had some rich kids in the classes I was in, and it was like they didn't care. You know what I mean? They were smart. I'm not saying I'm not saying that they were unable to do it, but their attitude, they didn't care. Oh, I can go do something else. That's what I mean. See?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's not about whether you have maraming utak or not. Okay, it's uh,
In
it's about
general,
money
it
and
yeah.
attitude. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I would
depends
guess.
anywhere.
I hear what you're
Uh-huh.
saying. I would guess the guys who, are struggling a little bit more are more go-getters, right? They're more like, "Hey, I need to make this work," right? Whereas the other
Yeah.
ones have more of a maybe a buffer.
Mhm.
But of course, that's generalizing, not always the case. But I love generalizing.
Yeah. Well, see, Maria is only 26 years old, and she's already a doctor, so you know she's a go-getter. All right, and that's the type of person I admire. Go-getters, ones who get out there and they conquer. You know.
How old was Doogie Howser?
Oh, he was 14.
Huh? Who is
So,
God.
Ken, Doogie Howser is a very famous show. I think it was in the '90s about a like teenage doctor.
Ah, wow.
It was played by the guy came out like somewhat recently. Is what's the guy's name? Neil Patrick Harris, really famous
Yeah.
actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. He played, but it was like he was super
Is
famous
he
because of that
Barney?
role.
Isn't he Barney?
Barney, maybe.
Wait,
Oh,
Harris?
you mean in what's the show called?
Barney Stinson. How I Met Your Mother.
Yes,
Is
he is. Yes.
oh,
So that guy was Doogie Howser, and he was like this
uh,
super young like genius doctor. That's
is it
basically
a
you.
funny show?
Yeah,
So
that's
says you were pretty happy when he came out. You had another prospect,
yeah.
right?
Screw you, buddy. Screw you. Someone said something. I don't know if you guys heard a little bit ago, but someone made it. It was Rodney Jones, and I literally like you guys were talking, and I couldn't stop laughing. He said, "I gotta find the comment." He said, "Says meets ding dongs all the time." I don't know why. It was really good timing. You guys were talking about like ding dongs or something, and yeah, Rogny had that. Kudos to you, Rogny. That was a great comment.
Ding
Where's
dong.
Where's Bubba?
That's my
I'm
favorite
here.
TV
I'm listening
show.
to you
That's my
guys.
favorite TV show.
You know, says
The How I Met Your Mother. Huh?
the only ding dong I've ever had was that chocolate covered cake
It's like a
with the
Twinkie.
with the cream center in the middle, and you have that with a cup of coffee.
It's good.
All that caffeine, you're flying, man. You're
I
flying.
think
All that
those things,
caffeine.
though, those things are so processed that I don't think they ever leave your body. like
No.
What's that?
you can't actually the
I've never,
body.
I've
Yeah.
never eaten that.
Have you ever had a
when
Twinkie?
I come to Philippines, I will bring you a box of ding dongs.
Yeah,
You-
the
you-
three are ding dongs.
After said
Twinkies.
it's too said it's too processed. That ding dong.
Oh, they're good. Oh, with a
Okay,
cup of
okay.
coffee.
I'm excited to taste.
Hmm. But I tell you what, I really miss with my coffee is pandesal.
Ooh, stuff's good.
Ah,
Yeah, the sweet bread.
Hmm.
I
I
would
like
love
the.
that.
You know what I like? I don't know what it's called, but it's this sweet bread, and in the middle is almost like pure sugar.
Hmm? Is it coconut?
It could be. It could be. It's literally like I
It's
think
not.
it's called a Spanish bread.
Oh,
Ah,
you're talking about Easter
butter and
bread.
sugar.
Yeah, you're
Yes, it's
talking
like
about Easter bread.
Spanish bread.
that stuff is really good with the coffee. So you like
Yeah.
one time I ate so many of them that actually I had like
Sugar.
this weird body reaction. Like it was sugar overload. It was just too much. Yeah, they sell them in like a little pack, and I ate the whole pack because they're so good. And yeah, that was like that could not have been healthy, but it is good. Yeah, but the one thing about Filipino bread is it is all really sugary, right? For the most part.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they love
yeah.
sugar here.
It is.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
like rye bread. You know, like a good rye bread with like some corned beef and some mustard and some sauerkraut. Yeah, you can't get that.
You can't get that here a lot.
You know,
It's
and I'm not even
so
joking. Out of all the things I miss, sandwiches is the top of the list.
yeah, you mentioned that. Why don't you just make your own sandwich at home?
I could. Number one, I'm really lazy. Number two, I don't know. It's not the same. Yeah, there are some delis out there that supposedly sell some pretty good like cheese and meats, but I've had it before and it's still not really the same. I don't know why. It's just not.
Mm.
Like it could kind of it could work. It could definitely work. Like if I bought some mustard, and they do have some cheese out here. Cheese tends to be pretty expensive, like the real cheese. If you buy the what's that one cheese that Eden? If you buy that crap, it's cheap. But like if you want real cheese, it tends to be pricier out here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You need to
Don't
go
you have
to.
something like S&R there?
Yep,
Yes, yes,
that's
SNR's
where I
awesome.
have to go.
Yep,
Mustard.
that's where I get my mustard
Okay.
actually.
Don't let Bubba
Yep.
Oh,
fool
okay.
you, man. Okay? Don't let Bubba fool you. He's a cheese whiz, man.
Not
Okay?
really.
I
Come
could
on, Bubba.
totally
Tell the truth.
I could totally see Bubba. You know the cheese whiz can't like dispenser thing, just like
Oh,
full on in his mouth. That's like lunch.
I would do that. I used to do that. I would eat a cracker and
Bubba,
then
Bubba, why am I not surprised?
It's
followed
okay
by
to
a
tell the
swirl of
truth,
beer.
Bubba. We still love you, man. Okay?
Again.
Drink milk right out of the jug. You know.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, most places here actually
Poor
sell
Bubba.
mustard that I've been to.
Mustard's good for you, man.
I love
Okay?
mustard. I love
I got
mustard and I love mayonnaise.
I got
But
a
I like real
huge
mayonnaise.
huge thing of you guys know French's mustard, classic, right? Huge thing of
Yeah,
French's at SNR.
yeah. And they also sell Grey Poupon.
I do like some Grey Poupon. Grey Poupon is awesome.
I do too. I
Great.
love the
What's that?
spicy mustard.
What about you, Ken? Do you
Hmm?
eat sandwiches?
Yeah, I
What
do.
kind of sandwich?
Well, most we make our sandwiches ourselves. Are you talking about the last time you were talking about burgers, right? Is
Oh,
it the
not
same
really a
Talking
or
about
burger.
no?
burgers,
That's different.
and you can't really find a good sandwich here.
Oh, okay. So I I don't get full by eating sandwiches. So I'm more of a rice person. But right now
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating four cheese pizza with
From
mozzarella.
Good for you.
With
SNR.
mozzarella. I don't know what else it has.
That sounds
Hey,
really good right
Mustard.
now.
Ken, are you and Louie going to do any more travel vlogs?
Yeah.
What's your
I'm not.
next project?
Mm, we have a lot to go to this year.
Uh-huh.
This April we're gonna go to. Well, not in the Philippines. In China, we're gonna go to China. It's a 1 week stay, and then
All
I'm gonna
right.
go to Leyte for 4 days this April also, and then I'm gonna
What
go
part of Leyte?
to Ley. We haven't decided yet, but we were planning on going to Cuatro Islas and Kalangaman,
Okay. I've
the
been out. I've been out
Maldives.
there. I've been
Oh,
out
you've
to.
been there?
No, I went to Biliran.
Huh?
Yeah. That's where the airport Bilaran.
Oh
Do
my
you know
God,
what
somebody's
late?
actually in
Anyway,
Butuan.
Do you know what
oh,
Leyte is famous for?
what?
That's what.
You know more.
Serious. No
You know
joke.
more than me. Uh-huh.
this is where General MacArthur landed, and
Oh.
where he returned, during World
Oh.
War II.
Dugout
Ah,
Doug. Dugout
Oh.
Doug.
yeah.
I'm the digger who dug the dugout for Dugout Doug.
Uh,
we're all,
so you
we're
should go see that famous World War II site.
we'll try to explore it in 3 days or more.
You can
So
do it.
we're also gonna go to uh we're planning on going here in the Philippines, but we have official visits in Vietnam and Taiwan, so I don't know if I'm gonna do something there.
Okay.
More on dental conventions and
Mhm. Well,
seminars.
you guys really put some nice vlogs together. I really like what you did. The cinematography and the way
Oh,
you
that's just kind of random, Popeye. Like we have our camera and we ask each other to take a few shots,
yeah. Well,
and then we enjoy the beach.
you got a natural eye for it. It was very nice.
Yeah, Louis is a really good photographer.
Hmm.
I think you guys should step up your game a little bit, and you should do videos with Bubba. Like instead of radio, let's get like a
Yeah,
travel
that
vlog with
we were
Bubba.
planning for. We're planning for 2 months now about Baba's
Yeah, me eventually making it up
national
there
video.
from the woods here. From the woods here, and we'll do some videos.
Well, Bubba, didn't you
Bubba will
mention?
dance.
Oh, he needs to dance. Yeah, he needs to for
Yeah,
sure. And I think
he
Bubba,
has to,
it's a requirement.
or else,
Yeah, my
or
big
else.
ass moving around.
Bubba,
Ah,
weren't you mentioning about like an Angeles trip?
Yeah, I want to kind of make it up to that area, but I want to meet and hang out with you and Lucas and other people I'm friends with on Facebook. But we've been talking forever, but we have yet to meet and hang out.
Yeah, would it be like when you go like it because it's kind of hard because you got the kid, right?
Oh no, I'll be by myself.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask, which is okay,
Mhm.
great. So yeah, then you can come anytime then. That's perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, Lynn doesn't really like leaving Davao.
Is she
really?
from there?
She's from Samal, which is the little island in the Gulf of
Ah,
Davao.
Yeah.
Samal. Wow.
Yeah, so she's a province girl, and her family's here, and I understand.
Yeah.
That's like out in nowhere, Bubba.
Oh yeah, it
My
is.
You
Lord.
know, well, I worked in Makati and Manila for. I lived there for maybe 9 years, 9 or 8. I don't like going back. I've dreamed of working in a city corporate environment, but when I was there and I went through all the hassle, traffic, hassle on commuting, no taxi everywhere. When it's raining, it's always one way. I don't want to go back there as much as possible in the
Yeah,
city. So I
can't say
can
I
very
blame
well
you.
say I'm also a province girl because all the people there are rushed. So when you bump into when you bump into somebody and he's angry because he's also in a hurry, ah, tired of that environment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
More
city
of a
is
chill.
the city can be a cold, foreboding place. I can guarantee it.
except for
People,
Boston.
Boston, you come
Boston's
out.
very warm and friendly.
Oh yeah, we'll show you a good time. I'll take you down to the Charles River, what we affectionately call the Dirty Water,
Yeah,
and I'll give you a little introduction, Whitey Bulger style. You know,
yeah. There you go.
or down to the harbor that smells like rotten eggs. You know.
Oh, lovely.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a great
Oh
tour.
yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
local landfill
Yeah, the local
No,
landfill. Yeah.
where?
in Boston.
The last time I was back in Boston was 2014. Okay. And flew into Logan Airport, and I met some of my family, and we went right out to the Cape Cod. It's like going out to the province, okay? And not a lot of traffic, good food, you're by the ocean. And for me, the city doesn't have that charm it used to have when I was a young man in my teens and 20s. And but I enjoy the Cape, you know, the sand dunes, lobster, shrimp, all the good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my brother used to live in Boston for a couple years. I'm like a horrible sibling. I never visited, so
Why?
Of course you are.
I can relate.
Why? Fuck that. It's cold there.
well, I don't know. We were both. I mean,
Cold?
yeah. Here's the thing. We're both. We're both. I was working my job in San Francisco at the time. He's doing his thing, so it just never happened. But it was unfortunate because he told me he really liked Boston.
Yeah, you can get to like Boston, especially if you live in either the North End or South End. Now, North End and South End, two different animals. North End, you have all the Italianos, all the paisans, okay, and South End, you got all the in your face rude Irishmen, okay. And each one has a charms. I prefer the North End. I love the restaurants. I love my pasta.
Yeah, he said there's really good food.
Yeah, my marinara sauce, gotta have it. Okay, just gotta have it. And it's the way it is, And if you're a big drinker, you will love Southie, especially this month, the 17th, when they have the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Oh yeah, I'm sure just a bunch of drunken Irishmen.
Yeah, a bunch of little
Everybody
leprechauns
wearing
like
green?
you running around saying, "Kiss me, I'm Irish."
There you go. Yep.
Do you
Yep.
wear green in St. Patrick's? Is it this? Sorry.
Go ahead, say what you got, girl.
No, because I was watching this episode in How I Met Your Mother,
Uh-huh.
and Barney Stinson wore a green costume. Do you also
Yeah,
wear something like that,
yeah, I've
like a
seen that.
leprechaun or something?
Yeah.
I
Oh
just like
People
that.
man.
love that holiday in the States. They love St. Patrick's Day.
What's the purpose of who's Saint Patrick?
Good question about the purpose. All I know is you're supposed to drink
What's
as much as possible.
St. Patrick was the guy who
Okay,
was
okay.
the guy who introduced Christianity to Ireland, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
You
okay.
are correct.
You have to drink as much as possible.
And I'm not even Catholic. Isn't that amazing?
Bubba, what does that have to do with Guinness, though?
Guinness is from Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I like Guinness.
I like Guinness too.
You
Guinness
cannot
is
find
awesome.
Guinness on tap in this country.
Really?
Yep, I have never ever seen. Of
They
course,
have it out here. They have it out here.
really
Yep.
What?
on tap.
Yep. Oh, I don't know about on tap. Good question.
See, that's what I mean. I've never found it on tap. Now I've seen it in a bottle
Okay.
in a
Okay.
few places, but you're not going to find it on tap.
Wait,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, to all you listeners out there, you should take a keg of Guinness and put it in a Balic buying box and send it to us.
Okay.
And we'll do a video of us drinking it.
Okay. Hey, I gotta ask you, Says. Now you're there in Angeles City, okay, and I know you're no stranger to walking street and all that good stuff. In the local establishments there, do they still serve things like Mojo and Bullfrog?
Ooh, are those like beers?
Mojo and Bullfrog were a very famous concocted alcohol concoction that they used to make in Subic and Angeles back in my day.
Okay.
And I sent Ken the recipe so she could make it.
Oh.
What is that? Honestly, that's the first time I've heard of that. So I would, you know, what's funny? I bet there is at least one bar that still serves him. There's got to be. But
So
what?
would you do
Mojo?
me?
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
ask.
would you do me a favor? Next time you're down there, bring your camera and hit one of the oldest bars you can find, like where you'll find a lot of old salts that are retired from the Navy and the Air Force and stuff like that. And ask the barkeep if he can make you a picture of Mojo.
What
Okay.
is it? Like, what is the concoction?
Oh, it has pineapple juice in it. It has grenadine in it. It has 6 different kinds of alcohol in it.
Oh,
You know?
wow. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
meant to just put you on your face.
Hey,
yeah.
Sez,
And you drink one glass
Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
tastes like fruit punch. And then when you stand up, the room spins and you fall over.
You know what it
Yeah.
kind of
That's
reminds me of?
you know what says that's a really good anesthesia.
Yes, it
General
is.
anesthesia. If
Yeah.
you're gonna go to the dentist next time, just mix Mojo for yourself.
This is perfect. Now I know what to do next time I get a filling. It's like just
Yeah.
a couple glasses of
All right.
Mojo.
Don't need your Novocaine.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
probably going to be
Don't
like,
need Mojos.
can you leave our establishment right now?
hey, have you been to BGC? Says
Yeah, I have over in Manila. Actually, surprisingly, even though I've hung out in Manila a lot, I only went there somewhat recently to BGC, and it's very nice.
Oscar Mike says the fort,
Yeah.
BGC.
Yeah,
They have
Bonifacio Global City.
they have Guinness on tap.
I believe it. It's. I mean, you go out there, it's kind of like Beverly Hills or something. It's very.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's out of your price range, right, Seth?
Oh, it definitely is. I was walking around there. You guys know I live in a
In
bum.
BGC.
Oh yeah, no, I walk around there and I'm like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It's actually very strange because you feel like you're in a different world. It's not. It doesn't feel.
Really?
Like, yeah, it doesn't feel like the Philippines. You've been there, right, Ken? Hello.
Ted,
Hello, Ken.
Ken, are you there?
Disappeared. Oh my
You
god.
dropped off. What are we gonna do? What?
Oh my god. I don't know what to say now. Oh.
She's
So
still
sweaty.
on.
No, she dropped off.
She dropped.
Did she?
I-
Well, look
right.
at this. No, I still. Oh, yes, she did. She just
Yeah.
dropped off.
You're lagging, bro. You're lagging.
I
Yeah.
must be. I'm always lagging.
That's all right. We still love you, bro.
Lagging, lagging.
Dude says you gotta do that blog for me. Just hit one of those old salt bars, bring some idiots you don't like, and you know,
You don't like.
I know plenty of those.
yeah, and have the barkeep make a picture of Mojo and serve it up to those idiots, and then shoot your camera and let the fun begin, man. All
So
right,
that
I'm
was-
telling you,
yeah.
you would get millions of hits on that shit. I'm telling you. All right.
Mojo and Bullfrog. Bullfrog's pretty much the same thing, just like
Yeah.
a liquor concoction.
Yeah, one is one looks like Hawaiian Punch.
Yep.
Okay, that's the Mojo, and the Bullfrog is green. Okay, and I tell you, if you could drink a pitcher of that and walk away, phew, all right, and you're a good man. It's kind of like they call it the Long Island iced tea of Philippines.
Oh, okay. Okay. It reminds me of when I was in college. They would always do this thing called jungle juice. Do you guys?
Yeah, same thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
buy a brand new garbage can, clean it out, and then put in bags of ice,
Yep.
whatever kind of liquor you could think of, with fruits and
Yeah,
fruit punch and God knows what else.
yeah.
And you would be commode, hugging drunk by the end of the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send you the recipe, Bubba, for Mojo, and you can make it for the province people out there who you don't really care for.
I could get my mojo working.
Yeah.
You know what though? It sounds like Bubba's kind of drink because Bubba, as we know, he drinks like the ladies' drinks, right? He likes San Miguel apple. He likes. Do you?
Oh, yeah.
What else,
Yeah.
what is Bubba? This could be right up his alley. It's like just
Yeah.
wrong
Well,
with
look
and-
what Oscar Mike says. He says, Popeye, that sounds like a leg spreader, you know? Oh, yeah, it can go that route, you know. Alcohol does, you know, lower the inhibitions of people. All right.
This is interesting. Read this comment by Rogny Jones. He said, "Have you seen a sign that said no red stripe in AC? It was signs from when segregation. The black military used to drink red stripe beer, so the bars that did not want black patrons would put the sign."
He's
Wow.
absolutely right. He's
Wow,
absolutely
I didn't know about
right.
that.
Let me tell you a little bit about
Red Stripe is beer.
Is that a Jamaican beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what used to happen, especially in the 70s, mid to late 70s, Alongapo was broken up. You had Mag Sai. That was the main drag. All bars. Okay. You would rarely catch a black sailor on Mag Sai. They would have to go over to Rizal Avenue. Okay. And they called that the jungle. Right. And if you walked over on Rizal, it would be all black sailors. Okay. And finally, when the 80s come about, all of that went away. It was like, thank God that segregation bullshit went away. It was like you could walk into any bar in Magsaysay, Rizal, Gordon Avenue, and all those places, and you would see a mix of sailors from white to black, Puerto Rican, whatever, Mexican. Yeah, you'd even find a couple of Renzeros in there, you know. Wadale, you know.
Well, it's
Yeah.
weird because didn't all the sailors have to work together though at that time still?
Yes, but what would happen was you would put them on Liberty, and I don't know, it was like, especially in the 70s, you put them on Liberty, they'd take a fucking stupid pill and then just segregate on their own out in town. Okay. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And then the 80s come along, and it was kind of like a new age. We were doing a lot of programs in the Navy, you know, to get away from segregation, to get away from splitting certain races up. And we really kind of did a unification in the 80s during the Reagan era. And we started going out in town together. We just, you know, hey, that's my shipmate. There's only one color in the United States Navy, and that's blue. And that's blue, and that's it, you know. And it was awesome times. It was awesome times. I mean, the stress level for Liberty was at its lowest in the 80s. Now, these days, I don't know what's really going on with the Navy. Really don't give two shits, you know, because I'm retired. I'm going to be honest. I'm retired. Okay?
You don't got to worry about that shit anymore. Yeah. But
Yeah,
the Navy is no longer here though, right? They got the boot.
actually, we do Liberty ports into Subic at Lava Pier on the old base, and you know, in 2013, some sailor screwed that up, and
Jarhead.
yeah, some jarhead, and he killed one of your ladyboy girlfriends.
Oh yeah, we know. We all know that story. Yeah, and so now they got more strict, and basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you'll see the sailors doing now, they'll pull into Civic, they'll go clean the beach up, they'll do a community project. They're wearing these faggoty orange shirts and faggoty blue shorts, you know.
Are you serious?
It's a heart attack. And I say, what the fuck did they do? What the fuck did they do to my beloved Navy?
Where did they go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, they turned them all into fucking snowflakes, is what they did. And yeah, just a bunch of snowflake social justice warrior bullshit.
You know what?
You
That's
know,
another thing too. It's different from when Popeye and I were growing up. You could call an asshole, and everything was fine.
yeah.
Nowadays, you really got to watch your words because everybody gets all butthurt and sensitive over stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
glad. I'm
don't.
glad I don't have to deal with that, man. I don't live out there in America, so it's
So
like,
let me
yeah,
let me
Thank God
ask
I
you.
don't.
Let me
yeah.
ask you, Seth. Do you get offended? Do you get triggered? You
No,
know.
no, I'm one of those people, and I think you guys know this about me. I mean, it takes a lot to even just get me riled up at all. I mean, so much stuff. I mean, you could basically say anything to me, and I'll just
Yeah.
kind of laugh it off. I'll let it roll off my back. It really, I just don't give a fuck. And there's only a few things that I care about. And I know this sounds horrible, but it ends up I'm a pretty selfish person. Like, I don't care about politics. I don't care about any of that shit. Really, what I care about is myself and making it work. So what I do is, because I feel like I have no real say in politics, I don't know about them. Even if I did know about them, I still feel like it's corrupt as fuck. So what I do is, whatever the political stance is, I just fucking adapt and I make it work. So that's
Okay.
kind of my views. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. There's a lot of people nowadays, especially San Francisco. Come on, where I spent the past 13 years. Where, I mean, these people, it's like you could say even a nice thing to them and they would get offended.
Yeah. Well, look what
Yeah.
Oscar Mike says. He says the Navy held a liberty there in Manila last week. From what my cousin told me, two big ships. Yes, they did, Oscar Mike. Now, what I would like you to ask your cousin is, was there a sailor on every street corner with a beautiful Filipina on his arm like the old days? I highly doubt it. Were there some drunken fights? I highly doubt it. I mean, they have pussified my beloved Navy, and that's what they've done to it. And I'm brokenhearted over it. You know, I mean, really, they've watered down what a sailor is. It's like, ugh, it just breaks my heart, man.
You know who ruined the Navy?
Yeah, the guy you voted for, oh boo boo.
Nope, nope. The village people.
You're the village people. That's a good one. I love that one. Anytime somebody mentions the U.S. Navy, there's always some twit brings up the village
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. They
They
ruined the
ruined.
name.
If there's anyone to blame, no. Actually, I got a couple close buddies. One of them, he's disabled from the Navy, and he gets hooked up. He gets quite a good disability pension. And then another friend of mine, I think he's still active in the Navy. He's a Mexican American dude, and yeah, he told me he had been to the Philippines before and stuff like that. I was like, cool, man, cool. But yeah, you know, even here in Angeles City, because I thought that there was no more U.S. military here. I thought that was done a long time ago. But to this day, I definitely see people, and I'm like, that's like a group of military guys. That's a group of young military guys. So I don't know exactly what they're doing here. Maybe they do. Someone told me they still do training, stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we also have a lot of NCIS, Naval Investigation,
Mm-hmm.
there, and they do well, I would have to say somewhat coverted ops, you know, getting intel and stuff like that, what's going on.
Oh, they're
And
sent in here kind of like secretive.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a secret, but it's not a secret. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone knows, but
Kind of like Area 51,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. Oh, yeah, it does, but it really doesn't.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Oscar
yeah.
Mike just said. She said they were all at MOA looking for a Nike store. I mean, come on. When I
Geez.
got off the ship, there was two
Looking
things.
for a bar.
Yeah, there was
Booze and
three
hooker.
things I was looking for: an agreeable meal, a hot-looking babe, and some booze, and not necessarily in that order. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, they just forgotten what it's like to be a squid. That's all. I should just like put my uniform back on, get back to active duty, and unfuck them all. That's what I should do. You know?
You still have your
Fuck
old
that. You
uniform?
should be chairman of the Joint Chiefs, buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I still have my uniforms. They're all hanging up in the closet, covered in plastic. They're ready to go.
Dude, that is
They're ready to go.
badass. That is
They're-
badass.
Yeah, those uniforms cost some friggin' money, dude.
I'm
All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Just for one set of dress uniform, you're talking. Back when I bought it, it was $175.
I mean, that's.
Okay.
I would assume the cost is really high at this point because it's like a historic item, right?
Yeah, it is. And
Well, nowadays I think they wear dress pinks, right?
yeah, dress pinks. Yeah.
Hot
What the
pink.
fuck is a dress pink?
Instead of dress whites or dress blues, it's dress pinks.
Ah.
Yeah. Show this.
It's a kinder, gentler navy.
Yeah. It is. And all my uniforms, my shadow box, with all my ribbons, medals, also the flag that's in the shadow box used to fly over the memorial in Hawaii. Okay. All that will be turned over to my kids when I'm dead and gone.
Is the Navy outfit? Because I have this image of like an original, like the white one with the hat. Is that the one? You know, the hat with a little blue trim.
No, that's you're talking about. Actually, I just had a white hat. It's Dixie Cup, and the other hat I have is what they call a. It's not even called a hat. It's called a cover. Excuse me. You guys are fucking civilianizing me. It's called the cover.
Oh, don't
All
blame us. You've been out for how long?
Yeah. It's called the cover, and the other cover I have is a combination cover, you know, with the black bill.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that's what's cool about this place is you really could feel the history here. Definitely, it's like here in Angeles City, and I like that about this place. A lot of my buddies are ex-military. You know, there's a lot of, as you guys know, a lot of military history, especially
See,
right here.
look at Oscar Mike. He says, I still have mine too, Popeye, from utilities to my dress blues.
Was Oscar Mike
Exactly.
Navy?
No, he was Marine. Jarhead.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, utilities and dress blues. Yeah. I still even have some of my dungaree seafarer uniforms that I used to wear on the ship when I was working on the gun mounts, right? And my daughters love to steal these shirts with my crow on them. And, oh, look what I got, you know? And I'm like, don't ruin that shirt. That's a piece of history there, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Bubba, what is this cunt cap thing you're talking about?
That's what Rajni said.
Yeah, it's actually called a piss cutter. Okay. And usually Marine Corps and also Army wear piss cutters. And it's that little V-shaped cover that they wear on top of their head,
Like a field cap.
like the ice cream boy used to wear.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got a good image.
Yeah, except it's only olive green, made out of a really nice material, and we used to call them piss cutters. All right, that's even a term my father taught me. He served in World War II and Korean War. In the Army, he was a combat corpsman.
Oh, really? My grandpa served in the Korean War, and he had got some medal. It was a crazy story. Like the enemy was trying. I think wasn't the enemy the Chinese in that war?
Yeah, Chinese.
In the Korean War.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So something happened, and like the enemy was about to get all these personal documents, like you know, private documents. And so what he did is he just blew everything up, and he got some crazy medals. Cool story, actually. Yeah. So your father and my grandfather might have fought side by side.
Possibly.
It's possible. Yep.
Yeah.
What's funny is I have a buddy who he was born in Hong Kong, and this is back in San Francisco, and his dad, his dad was pretty old, you know, for our age, but his dad served in the same war on the other side.
Wow.
So we always used to like joke about that like our families were probably like fighting, you know, trying to kill each other.
Yeah, my father was only 17 when he just at the end of World War II and when he got into it. Okay.
17.
Yeah.
That was you were allowed to join back then at that age.
There was guys joining that were 15, 16 years old, lying about their age.
Damn.
Okay.
Can you imagine? I mean, 15 is so fucking young. It's so, I mean, when I was 15, I think all 15s are dipshits. I'll just straight up say that. I mean, I'm 32 and I'm a dipshit, you know? 15 years old, that's wild.
Yeah, well, you got to understand, you take a 15, 16-year-old guy and you put him in a war, it's actually a good thing. Because when you're an adolescent like that, you're basically a fucking psychopath. You'll do anything.
That's true. I was just thinking that. That's true. You're willing to do whatever. So actually,
yeah, and you put that under discipline and point it in the right directions.
You got a killing machine.
Yeah, the Germans had no chance. Okay, plain and simple. Okay.
But by the way, Bubba, did you find out what happened to Ken?
She dropped off and she said she was tired, which it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so I can understand that.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm fading away quickly too.
I am too. I'm gonna probably stretch my nuts part and call it a night.
Yeah, it's time for my mid-afternoon nap.
Well, you know, you deserve that. You put in your time. You get your.
Thank you. At least somebody shows some fucking respect around here, for Christ's sake. You know, I mean, half this community, Popeye's so old, they make me feel like fucking Rodney Dangerfield.
Well,
it's no respect.
No, it's funny because you're actually. I honestly, you know, I've never met you in person, but I thought you were older than you are. I mean, you're in your 50s. My folks are older than you are. Yeah, my folks are. Yeah, you're not that old, man.
Now, you have one sibling, or how many siblings you have?
Oh,
you're talking to me? Oh, you're talking to me? I have one full sibling who's an older bro, so he's 32 years older than me, 34, and then I have a half brother younger and a half sister younger. Now, what's a trip is, to me, my half siblings were always, like, in my mind, just really young kids, right? But they're not that young anymore. My little bro's like, I think he's like 17. He's like almost an adult. And then my little sister is in her early 20s. It's a trip.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they grow up fast, don't they?
Yeah, they do. My kid's just over a year old now, so.
You had a kid pretty late, because you're. Yeah, go ahead.
Says, you know how old my oldest sister is?
How old?
My oldest sister just turned 68.
Wow. Okay. So there's a big gap.
Yes.
Wow.
I am 6 of 7.
So for you, it's kind of funny, this whole dynamic, right? Because you probably grew up being the young guy.
Yes.
Yeah. You grew up being the baby. Absolutely. And then you come across us pricks, and we're like, "Oh, you fucking old sailor."
That's freaking hilarious. But I laugh at you guys. I mean, especially you, Sez. When I look at you and you tell your stories, what's going on there, I see shades and hints of what used to be.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that's changed, but there's a lot that hasn't, and you know that too, Popeye. There's a lot that hasn't. So I think you would come back here. And I think you'd fit right in.
Oh, I'm very adaptable. I mean, and my environment, if I like it, I can adapt real quick.
Yeah, Yeah, I got to check out Davao. That's where I need to go. What do you think, Bubba? Maybe I'll come out there.
Yeah, man, you can hang out with Phelps and I, man.
Yeah, I've been meaning to for a long time. I know I've been saying that. Yeah, I don't know. There's the whole like Mindanao thing, but I know Davao is cool. You know, Davao, CDO, I heard are some cool spots.
Yeah, I've never been to CDO, but I've heard the same thing. I've heard CDO is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I heard
Well,
it's
what's nice too is
developing.
you can catch a ferry or catch a boat from CDO to Cebu.
Well, what I would do is because they're really up in Clark, right? There's I don't know if you guys read the news. There's something about like Manila's overcrowded, and you know a lot of the flights are going to Clark now, which is awesome because that means we could just all skip Manila, right? And yeah, I think pretty soon they're going to start having some really good routes. So I don't know. Like I assume you go from Manila to Davao as of now.
Yeah.
But imagine
Yep.
Clark to Davao.
They're going to start flying into Subic too.
Yeah, because there is an airport out there, right?
Yep, right at QB Point. There is a big ass airport that they are opening up, and you're going to be able to fly right into QB Point.
Subic's about to be booming.
It probably used to be the U.S. Air Force.
No,
right?
it was actually the U.S. Navy airfield, and all the planes from the aircraft carriers used to land there.
Oh.
Okay. All right. And now, once in a while, we would have a C-130 come in, but it didn't have a penetrator, and it wasn't trying to pull PV out. Okay. You know, it would come in, bring supplies, mail, shit like that, you know. And yeah, back then you were lucky to get a letter. If people were writing you regularly, you might get a letter every 10 to 15 days.
Dude, that hasn't changed. That has not changed. I'll be honest with you. I do not get mail. I don't get anything.
yeah, with email nowadays, the only time people get mail, I think it's either garbage mail or bills.
My buddy,
bills.
This is funny. My buddy, he sent me it's his wedding, like the end of this year, and he wanted to send me the save the date thing. And I was like, I guess if you want to try, man. And he sent it to me, and it came after like a month. And I found it just like stepped on, like in the front of my it was in a pile of trash. Literally, I can't believe I even saw it. I was like, "What is this?" And I started laughing because it literally looked like it went through a war. This letter. yeah. Mail is still. I don't think it's changed since the 90s.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it a night.
All right.
A pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, Sez and Popeye, and
oh, you're welcome. And
thanks to the ladies.
Yeah,
as always.
Maganda number 1 and Maganda number 2. Maraming salamat.
That's it. Everybody take care, and thanks for tuning in. And may the sun be shining wherever you may be.
Hell yeah.
Take care, guys.
All right, take care, Sez.
Take care, bro.